Cold in my pocket, breath like a match, velvet in my voice and skill in my grasp. I follow the moonlight into a steady hand, walk through the flame until both understand. When I ask who I am, I answer with light. Ignite your weekends, set our shadows on fire. Ignite your weekends, that tenderness meet desire. Ignite your weekends, choose how we rise higher. Ignite your weekends, oh yeah, ignite your weekends.
I used to push louder, call that being strong. Now strength is patient and patience moves along. I hold the rage and the lullaby in one key. In hard times I show up steady awake. The hours of posture, practice and refine.
Hands like thunder, hands like rain, both have place. I flip fear into fuel, turn silence into blaze. Ignition is a choice, not a single bright spark. I carry my past and shine through the dark. Ignite your weekends, set our shadows on fire. Ignite your weekends, let tenderness meet desire. Ignite your weekends, choose how we rise higher. Ignite your weekends, we are the flame, we light the night, we light the light. Ignite your weekends. Cold in my pocket, breath like a match, velvet in my voice and skill in my grasp. I follow the moonlight into a steady hand, walk through the flame until both understand. When I ask who I am, I answer with light. Ignite your weekends, set our shadows on fire. Ignite your weekends, that tenderness meet desire. Ignite your weekends, choose how we rise higher. Ignite your weekends, oh yeah, ignite your weekends.
I used to push louder, call that being strong. Now strength is patient and patience moves along. I hold the rage and the lullaby in one key. In hard times I show up steady awake. The hours of posture, practice and refine.
Hands like thunder, hands like rain, both have place. I flip fear into fuel, turn silence into blaze. Ignition is a choice, not a single bright spark. I carry my past and shine through the dark. Ignite your weekends, set our shadows on fire.
Mr. Hendricks.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Just up here in Kelowna. Are you ready to start the unofficial timer of the podcast?
Timer? What do you mean?
Right here. See?
Oh, is that, once it's gone, we're done? Is that this?
Depending on wind chill.
I see. Where do you say you're at? Paloma?
Kelowna.
Kelowna? Where's that?
It's in the Okanagan in BC, right in the midst of all the wildfires.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah. There's evacuation orders going on all around me.
You're just adding to the smoke.
I refuse to leave.
Are they telling you to leave?
Well, there's evacuation orders. I don't think we've actually got one, but they're like, like fire will start and it'll leap a road, and so then they'll put an evacuation order out. So you just never know.
This could be the most exciting podcast we've ever done.
I'll go live when the fire's chasing me down the road.
Yeah. Take your camera with you.
Of course.
All right. So Giga Maxing. That is the title of today's episode.
What does that even mean? Giga Maxing.
Giga
That's
Maxing.
Slang for something.
It actually doesn't mean anything. It's
Oh.
it's a title I made up to make fun of the slang words.
Oh, okay.
So giga means like extra, a lot, right? And maxing means like making the most of.
To the extreme. Yeah.
So it's a lot of extreme. That's what the title means.
Okay. Fair enough.
But basically, there's a bunch of words that I think, we're going to have Brenda on here again, as always, of course. We'll bring her up in a minute. But I just think there's a bunch of words that are out there that the two of you do not know about. And as we dive further into these relational topics with the youngsters, these terms are going to keep coming up more and more often. So we're going to do a segment, and we're going to try to educate not only the two of you, but our audience on what some of these words are.
Wow. Scary.
I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah. I always found that slang, today's slang coming out of my mouth don't sound right. But at least I'll understand them. I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah, you got to. So this reminds me of a series that I've been watching. Mm-hmm. And I thought up a little monologue here that I'm gonna go down a little rabbit hole.
Okay.
Pun intended. I've been watching this series called Black Rabbit. If you haven't heard of it, it's on Netflix. Great series. Okay. If you like anxiety, if you like to have a lot of anxiety while watching something, watch Black Rabbit.
Is that a serial killer?
No, it's about two brothers that like own a bar in New York, restaurant in New York.
Okay.
But the point is that the series starts off, the very first scene is like the last scene of the whole thing, right? Some movies do this. It's a popular thing that they do. So you see it and you kind of know what's going on, but you don't really know all the backstory behind it, right? So this one is like they're at a party at this restaurant, bar, place. Everybody's dressed up really nice. There's tons of people in there. Somebody's giving a speech about the place and about the event. And then these guys come in with ski masks on, and they've got a hostage and guns, and they start holding people up and taking their jewelry. And then like a security guard shoots somebody, and then they shoot somebody. And it's like, okay, it's the very first scene, So the only thing you know of is what you're looking at. You're like, okay, this is a jewelry robbery in a restaurant.
Right.
But there's a whole lot missing, right? So once you watch the series, you get the backstory on the characters, you start to understand a lot more of the context, and then when they finally get to the last episode of the series and they show that scene again, it's a whole different scene to you. You know everything about it, the context and the history, and who's behind the mask and why they're stealing the jewelry and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So this reminded me of over the weekend, or actually before the weekend, something happened in Spain. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but it was like a kind of an invasion, right, in Spain. So
I crashing the border.
Yeah. So if you watch it and you see the footage of all these people just like by the thousands just streaming into Spain, you just like you get one idea of what's happening. But if you don't know any context of what's happening in the world or the history of Spain or who those people are, you have no idea. It's like watching that first scene and not knowing what's going on. So I think personally, I think the people that watch a lot of news today, that's how they watch the news. They just see what's going on and they have no idea the backstory of the history. They don't want to do the work. And that's how, frankly, I think a lot of us are taken advantage of.
Right.
But anyways, relating that to our podcast, I think it's the same thing with men and women. If you put a man and a woman next to each other and you just go, okay, this is just a picture of two people. These are just two humans, you know, and they just, they can both do the same jobs and do the same things. They have different genitalia, but they're pretty much the same, you know. But there's a lot of history. First of all, a man has history, like personal history in his life, like how he was brought up and what he's been through. So does a woman, personal history. But then there's also like the DNA history, you know, like the thousands of years of survival that have shaped the way that a man's brain works versus a woman's brain works, or emotions, or even physicality. So again, it's a lot of times I think that when we're trying to understand the dynamics between men and women, we tend not to take into account the history of both the personal history and then like the thousands of years of history that make us different. That's it.
That's probably true.
That's probably true.
Probably true. Yeah.
Is that all you got to say?
Am I getting a? Oh, I thought I was getting an echo. Stopped. Is that all I have to say?
Well, I mean, you don't have to have anything to say, but I thought you would.
Well, you pretty much said it. I mean, I don't know. It's people never relate history. A lot of people don't believe. I think a lot of people do not accept that a lot of our history is DNA based. A lot of our tendencies and the things that we do naturally or lean towards come from thousands of years of baked in DNA. I don't think a lot of people believe that, especially today's generation. They think they form their own thought. They're everything they do is original. When I don't believe it is. But
yeah, I mean, either you believe that things are passed down through DNA, like survival tendencies are passed down through DNA, or you don't. I certainly do believe. I was just called Unk. Lee just called me Unk in the comments.
What does that mean?
Unk, I believe it's not one of the words we're going to go over today, but I believe it means like an uncle, like you're an old man trying to like be cool.
Well, maybe he means wise elder. Maybe that's what he means.
Or cringe elder.
Carol says history began in the 80s. That's probably true.
Well, let's bring in Brenda Noss. Let's not wait any further. And hey, Brenda, welcome back.
Hi, everybody. My computer decided to restart right in the middle of all that, so I missed some of the fun conversation about slang. I didn't know what it means anyway, so I don't think I missed much.
Oh, we haven't gotten there, actually, really. I did a little monologue about context and history of DNA and men and women, and that's what you missed. So you didn't miss much.
Right.
But I was called an Unk.
Except for the question, does she believe that a lot of men and women's behavioral tendencies come from thousands of years of baked in DNA?
Say that one more time. I had a
yeah. See, I had Adam said that and then tossed it to me. I had the same reaction. So what I'm asking you is, do you believe that men and women, some of their natural behavioral tendencies as they move through life are the result of thousands of years of genetic evolution?
100%. 100%, especially our survival instincts.
Yeah. And do you believe that a lot of people today believe that, though? Like, do you think that's a mainstream belief, or do you think that's kind of it's maybe not so mainstream, that a lot of people think that they create their own original thought, and they are the master of their destiny, and there is no biological influence? What do you think about that? Think that's true?
People still believe there's a flat earth. Just because people believe it doesn't mean it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one thing to like intellectually understand it, to say, okay, that's there. There's some program running in my brain subconsciously driving me from ancient historical like survival tendencies. Like I can understand that. But then to actually look at me in my life and be like, am I doing that because of one of my ancestors got a spear in the face, or am I, like it's harder to apply it to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, our ego likes to believe that we're we're self-inspired. What's the word I'm looking for? But that
Unique,
we're self-driven.
special, different from all others.
Yeah.
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 Well, like I was saying, I was called Unk by Lee in the chat. Just he's starting us off. He also put in scuba. Oh, Unk's plural. He says.
Oh, we're both Unks.
Probably.
I think I'm gonna choose to believe that Unk means wise elder. That I'm gonna go with that.
Not
I'm going to say wise elder that brings the fun.
Oh, okay, the Unk part.
It's usually the uncle that does the things that parents don't approve of, right?
Yeah,
there you go.
The fun uncle that you, that you don't mind.
I had a fun uncle. What he used to do, he had this farm, and as young kids, there'd be like all the cousins. There'd be like 9 of us or something, and he put us in the back of a panel van, and it's completely empty, and then he would take us around this field, like sliding and turning. We're going crashing back and forth, side to side, up and down. Oh, you're in the air. And Gus, that was hilarious. But I bet you the parents would have been thrilled.
Sounds perfectly reasonable to me.
We need fun uncles. We need fun uncles. There's too much safety in the world when we're children.
All right, so we're going to go through some terms here, some Gen Z terms. We'll see how many of these that you know. Okay, first of all, some of them are obvious. Like the name of the show we were talking about, Brenda, is Giga Maxing, which means nothing, because giga just means a lot more, and maxing means better. It's a lot more better.
A lot more better than we are every week.
But you can kind of figure it out, maxing and giga, you can figure it out. But some of them are ridiculous, and you'll never guess. So let's get to it. Okay.
And it's important for us elders to understand what the younger people are saying and doing. It's funny, to follow up a little bit on last week, I was talking to a young woman that I know that I'm mentoring in one way, and she was talking about her age group and how much the entitlement is real. And that's not the world that I move in, and that's not the world that I coach, and that's not the world that, I inhabit. So I was actually surprised and a little bit dismayed that I'm not so much in the loop about understanding how much our guest last week was talking. Some of his points were more relevant than I thought.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've actually shout out to Modern Life Dating, MLD. He was on our show last week. Our most popular show yet. So, he's a popular guy, and he was gracious enough to join us. Smart dude. He's been doing this work for a long time. And sometimes I think, we're not new to the relationship work, but we're new to this kind of world of the podcasting world and the manosphere and all that kind of stuff. So I think sometimes when we hear stuff from someone who's been in it for a long time and he's just saying it directly and clearly, it's hard to absorb sometimes all of it all at once. So I agree with you. Like, I've been going back and watching some of his stuff, and I'm telling you, a lot of it is similar to what we talk about.
It just has a different edge to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's important for me to remember that he's talking to men.
Mostly.
And it doesn't feel good on the female side sometimes.
Well, we have another influencer that we're going to cover today by the name of Homath, which the name I've tried. This is such good information. This guy, Homath. I've tried showing it to women, and they just cannot get past the name. They just cannot. And I understand.
What's the name? What?
Homath. HOE_MATH. Homath.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So, but there's one thing to have a name that catches attention, and there's another thing to actually look at the content, right? So his content is very, very good, and he actually does not speak only to men at all. He is speaking to everyone for sure. And so we're gonna go over one of his videos later, but very, very interesting guy.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. What was that, Bruce?
Oh, I said.
Oh, all right. All right, we're going to get to this slang here. Let's see what we got first. This one, I would assume you would know this one.
I've heard it, but I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to define it. I have heard of it, though.
Well, it either means wear a hat or don't wear a hat, or else it means alphabetically cap, like if it's in caps or it doesn't have caps.
Capital letters.
Well, you're not correct. Here it is.
Okay.
Cap means a lie, and no cap means the truth.
Oh, let's bring some no cap to this podcast.
Yeah. So two people will be talking to each other, and then someone will say something that sounds crazy, and they'll be like, "No cap,
no cap,
no cap, dude, no cap."
No cap.
They don't say dude, though, I don't think. Bruh, no cap, bruh.
Oh.
Yeah. Are you capping? Don't be capping in here. All right. Next one.
Don't be coming up in my crib capping.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And when I was a youth, that meant to be shot at, like to shoot somebody.
Oh yeah. Put a cap in his ass.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. I remember
How about
that.
this one?
Riz. I've heard of that. Riz. Is that like being really cool?
Kind of.
It's either being really cool or I don't know. I'll go with that.
It comes from charisma.
Oh.
And it really has to do with like approaching women. Basically, that's really what it means.
It's kind of like you got game.
Yeah. You got game.
You got game, and you got a little frame and game, as MLD would say. Yeah.
Hey, that frame one. We're going to talk about that too. What like terms and frame and how that. Yeah, because you talk about. Well, we'll get into it later. You talk about the soccer field, right?
Yeah, boundaries.
That's like a frame.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, next one. Aura and aura farming.
I know what aura means in my world, but I've never heard of aura farming.
Maybe that's you know how some people, you've heard it say, well, it's kind of like charisma, like they have an aura about them. And so maybe aura farming is when you go into their space and you try and shoplift some of that aura.
So one of our commenters says, read the word aura farming.
Yes, we have to do better about that. Some people are just listening.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Aura. Yeah, like aura is kind of your persona, what you project, right? Aura is, what does that say?
A person's vibe, confidence, or cool presence. Aura farming is trying to appear effortlessly cool or charismatic. So if you're
so you have your aura, and it's like how you live in your aura. That's aura farming.
Sounds like aura farming is putting on a mask to be cool.
Trying to make it look effortless is aura farming.
I always thought aura was effortless. I mean, you can't create your aura. It's kind of what goes with you.
That's because you're talking from as a Gen X, not a Gen Z.
Well, no, I think what they're saying is your aura is your vibe, right? But if you're trying to like project a vibe that is not actually who you are, then your aura.
So you're counterfeiting some sort of aura. Yeah. So
yes.
So I go with Brenda. It's like a mask. Yeah.
Yes.
I get it.
All right. Next one. Mid. MID. Mid.
I'm guessing it means average.
Yeah, that's what I'd be.
That's a good guess. That's a good guess. But it specifically refers to, well, I guess it could be anything, but usually it's talking about looks, you know, like you're a mid. You know,
you're a 5.
You have average looks, yeah.
Well, actually, it says average, mediocre, and then it says unimpressive.
Yeah, it's not
so it's kind of a right. It's kind of a derogatory, right?
So maybe a 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, nobody wants to be mid. Nobody wants to be average, right?
Like, yeah, no, that's true.
That's
I wouldn't say nobody. I know people that.
Right. No, I know. I get it. There's always exceptions, but
it doesn't take a whole lot of energy to be mid.
Right. Right. All right. The next one is Delulu. Delulu.
Don't know that one. DELULU. Delulu.
Duh meaning this. Lulu meaning she's Delulu. Like I would say fine. She's fine.
No. She's delusional.
Oh, what's that? What
unrealistic.
Short for delusional. Having, what does it say? Unrealistic
hopes or fantasies.
I'll have to remember that one. Would I look funny at my age using these terms? Probably.
Well, so we could change that part in the weekend. Women's weekend. We could truth and Delulu.
Yeah. And some women are very fond of wearing Delulu lemon.
I'm right there in that camp.
That's
my costume every day, everywhere.
Okay. All right, next one. Wild flowering. Nobody knows what this means. I tell you right now. Nope. I challenge the chat. They don't even know what this means.
All right, chat. What's wild flowering?
They're just gonna Google it, but
how about like wild flowering? How about having rampant sex with everybody in sight?
That's hippies.
That might be close. That might be it.
Indiscriminate sex.
I'm just giving the chat a chance to catch up, see if they say anything.
Give them a chance to Google it.
Yeah, no. Here we go. Dating casually without labels or expectations.
Short-term recreational dating, yeah.
Say that again.
Short-term
dating casually without labels or expectations.
Yeah, that's short-term. Yeah, that sounds like short-term.
Yeah, like wild stallioning.
Short-term relationship.
But the flowering gives the feminine a voice in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a bee hopping from flower to flower, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or the pollen from a wildflower just spreading everywhere.
Goodness.
Monkey branching.
Oh, I know what that is. Well, I think I know what that is.
Monkey branching.
That's where, when a woman's in a relationship, just like a tree monkey, she won't let go of the relationship she's in until she has a firm hold on the one she's going to. And then she lets go. Woohoo! Now I'm over in the new one. That's what I would say monkey branching is.
That sounds reasonable.
You nailed it. Lining up a new romantic interest before ending the current relationship.
Look at you, Bruce.
Yeah, look at me.
Monkey branching. All right. I actually hadn't heard of that one. How about roaching?
I know what it was back in the 70s.
What was it?
Scrounging for remnants of marijuana cigarettes and putting them all together in a split.
Back in the day,
okay.
Yeah.
I think this is more relational.
Roaching.
Secretly dating or sleeping with multiple people while pretending to be exclusive.
Roaching.
Wow. While pretending to be exclusive with each of your women, right?
Yeah, or men, depending, right?
Oh, I suppose it could go both ways. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Probably easier for a woman.
Not emotionally, though.
No, emotionally it'd be a train wreck.
Yeah.
Unless she's already past that stage, into the psychotic stage.
Well, it definitely has an impact eventually at some point. Yeah.
If you have multiple personalities, you could pull it off.
Oh yeah, she's a keeper if she has multiple personalities.
You get to sleep with a different woman every night.
Yeah, variety. All right,
Some of them are a lot more fun than others.
Next word. Okay, this is a great one. This is probably one of my favorite ones I discovered when putting this together. Ghost lighting. No, not gaslighting. Ghost lighting.
Carol.
I would say maybe spreading. Gaslighting is like shining people on, telling them narratives and supporting them with stories and it's not true. Ghostlighting.
Well, gaslighting is making them believe they're the crazy one.
Right.
Okay,
well,
yeah,
do you know the story behind the term gaslighting?
Tell us.
I'll probably get it kind of wrong, but there was a husband and a wife, and I don't remember why, but it was something about the light. Like they had gas light. Maybe he was trying to save fuel or something, or make her think she was crazy.
Yeah, their interior lighting. Yeah, their interior lighting was done by gas. You could turn them up and turn them down for bright and lower.
Yeah, so there was a normal setting that they would have them on, at night. So then he would, like, very, very small increments every night. It would be a little bit less and a little bit less and a little bit less, to where she didn't notice over time that it was getting darker and darker every night in the house until it was just like almost totally dark. And the whole time she's like, is it not getting darker in here? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? It's not. It's the same as it always has been. That's where the term comes from.
Yeah. Any reason why he was doing all that?
I don't remember. Someone have to look it up. Maybe he was trying to mess with her mentally. Right. I think might have been the thing. But I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Okay. So then what is ghostlighting?
Okay. But you know what ghosting is, right?
Yeah. Just disappearing on somebody when you're dating.
Right.
Oh, so maybe gaslighting is you are gone, but you just keep in verbal communication with them, but you have no intention of seeing them again.
It's close. You ghost them, you leave, but then you come back and you act like you never left.
No.
Oh, jeez.
So ghosting.
That'll mess with your head for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get rid of these comments for a second because they're gonna interfere with.
Yeah, Carol's informing us of a lot of interesting stuff here.
Ghosting someone.
So ghosting.
Go ahead.
Ghostlighting is ghosting someone, then reappearing and gaslighting them about your disappearance.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, I never left. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or you could have some big story about why you were gone. Oh, I was in a car accident. I was in a car accident and I woke up. I didn't know where I was. I was in Phoenix. I don't know how I got there. I've been trying to find my way back to you, honey.
I don't know what you're talking about. We just went out the other day. What are you talking about? I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
That's a bridge too far.
Oh, the comments came back. What the hell did that happen? All right, what's next here? Shrekking, like Shrek, like the
Disney character.
Disney character Shrek. Shrekking.
I don't know. I would say like a big buffoon rampaging his way through a relationship.
Deliberately dating someone less attractive, hoping their gratitude makes up for lack of chemistry.
Is that women doing that or men doing that?
I think it goes both ways.
Both ways.
I mean,
could go both ways.
Yeah, we'll just assume that all of these things are androgynous.
Yeah.
Our word of the day. That's gonna come up.
Remember
Later.
that? Remember that movie where this man was dating this woman, and to him, for some reason, she looked like a beautiful hourglass blonde.
Yeah.
And she was actually a really heavy girl.
Shallow Hal.
Shallow Hal, is that it?
I think so.
With that, I don't know if that would qualify as Shrekking, but
No, Shrekking. You're aware of it. You're doing it
Right.
on purpose.
sounds bizarre. That
Now,
you-
Delulu Shrekking might be what you're talking about.
You're shrinking and you're delusional. Yeah, thinking that they're really not as Shrek as you are, as everybody else thinks they are.
Right?
well,
No,
the sad
she's
part
hot,
about,
right? No.
well, the sad part about that is the expectation of gratitude because you're dating below your batting average or something. I don't know. It seems
Well,
like
it almost seems like, so an example from my perspective would be I don't feel like I have a lot of value to offer. So therefore I'm going to pick an ugly guy who's going to be grateful that I'm giving him my attention because I don't have any
Right.
self-confidence in what I have to offer.
That's it.
that would be the nicest way of looking at it.
All
The
right, we're
other
gonna
would be
move
more.
on.
Yeah. Okay.
The next one is Two Man. Two Man. I don't.
TWO man.
TWO Man. Yeah,
Audience.
I don't really know. I'm just gonna show it. A group dating setup involving two friends and their respective dates.
Okay. We called it double dating when I was growing up.
So you'd be talking to your buddy and say, "Hey, we gonna 2-man next Saturday?"
I guess.
Is it dating or is this just being nice?
Is it another way of saying double date? Is that
I
all it
think
is?
so. That's
Alright.
what it looks like to me.
Or is
We're gonna
it just the PG version of something spicier?
That one's boring. We're gonna move on. This is a good one. This is a common, popular one. It comes up all the time. Chopped.
Cut the date short.
Nope.
Is it negative?
But
or
you
positive?
might if your date is chopped, you might cut it short. Ugly.
Oh, chopped is ugly.
Being chopped is being ugly.
That's a not nicer way to put it.
Yeah. So they'll just say, "Oh, he's chopped. She's chopped."
As in pork chop got to tie a pork chop around their neck to get the dog to play with them.
That could very well be where it comes from. Okay, so then now, chopped leads to this. This is close to my favorite one. This is my absolute favorite one. Choppelganger. Do you know what a doppelganger is?
Yeah, multiple chopped people.
Well, a doppelganger is like there's somebody who exists in the world that looks exactly like you, like a twin
Body double.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a doppelganger. So a choppelganger would be that same thing, but an ugly version of you.
What if I'm the choppelganger for somebody else?
You could be. You could be. You don't know until you meet the other side of that coin.
We get to compare. And the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So I'm just going to assume that I'm not the choppelganger.
Well, and I think unfortunately in these situations, you're not the one that gets to say. Someone would say to you, "Hey, that's your choppelganger," or "You're their choppelganger." You know, that's how that works.
Sure.
Good thing I don't hang out with many Gen Zs. I wouldn't want to hear that.
Here's the next one. It's another very popular one.
Done. I'm done. I'm done.
You're done. You're cooked. You're
cooked.
done. You're finished.
Yeah, or it could, or anything can be cooked. You know, like
Right.
your
Yeah, doesn't have to be
career
a
can be
person.
cooked, or yeah,
Your relationship is cooked.
yeah, doomed, exhausted, or ruined, cooked. Chad and Giga Chad. We actually covered this one
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, we covered this one last week.
Chad's like a stud, isn't it? Like a good little man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Giga Chad would be the ultimate of a Chad. Huh?
Exaggerated ultra version of Chad. maxing and looks maxing. Last week we talked about that one influencer, Clavicular, who does looks maxing.
Where you do the plastic surgery and all the things to maximize your beauty, your physical form. Yeah.
Maximizing one's physical attractiveness through grooming, fitness, style, and other methods. But maxing has taken on its own meaning as well. So, like, I was talking to my son a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about another man and his relationship with his woman, and he was displaying some simp-like behavior, which that word should be in here too, simp, but it's not. But he goes, "Oh, is he simp maxing?" Like,
Nope.
okay.
I'm
So
glad we
cute
had a
stuff.
definition for simp because I thought it was something else.
Okay. Well, it's not going to come up in this PowerPoint, but later, when we watch the home math, when we go through his video, he totally nails what simping is, 100%, without saying it, without even saying this is what simping is. He describes it perfectly.
Cool.
So maybe we'll get there later. All right, next one. This is another popular one, Mog and Mogging, M-O-G, M-O-G-G-I-N-G, Mog
I need to
and
get out
mogging.
more.
I would say like over showering someone with compliments, gifts, or acts of kindness.
I mean, you're kind of on the right track. It's outdoing somebody in looks or something. Let's see, to outshine or look significantly better than someone else in appearance or status.
On purpose, or it just happens to be that way?
Well, could be both. So if there's three people on this podcast, and if one of us was like super attractive and the other one was chopped, then well, we're not gonna name names, yeah, right? But we could be like, hey, so and so is mogging the rest of the people on the podcast, you know?
It's the necklace. I know it's the necklace.
What do you mean?
So-
I don't have a necklace on.
I know. That's what I was talking about.
She's mogging your neckwear.
I'm mogging because I'm wearing jewelry.
Yes.
All right. The next one is Sigma, S-I-G-M-A, Sigma. I actually feel like this word is over. I don't know that it's being used anymore.
Is it like excellent?
Sigma must be sorority, a sorority.
We're just
sorority
going to
house.
reveal it because I don't really know. An independent, self-reliant lone wolf type, often used ironically. Sigma.
So how is that different than alpha?
Well, it's a bit tongue in cheek, I think.
Maybe the ironically part.
Yeah. Man, that
Well, I don't
man
think
is
alpha isn't necessarily independent, and alpha is the leader of the pack.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Okay. So Sigma's the
lone
guy that
wolf.
wants to be the alpha, but he doesn't have a pack.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we maybe we should ask Lee.
Our Gen Z guy.
Let's bring Lee up for a second.
Why?
Hey, Mr. Lee,
Hello.
are you officially in Gen Z? Or are you Gen Alpha?
I should be Gen Z 2000s.
All right, can you explain Sigma?
Sigma. I only know the vibe of the word, not the definition, but
Give us the vibe.
kind of like, yeah, exactly what you said. Lone wolf, kind of like out of the pack, but kind of like feels cool kind of thing, but not really cool.
So he thinks he's cool.
Yeah.
He has his own cool vibe that nobody's buying.
Well, yeah.
I actually kind of like that. He's a lone wolf. It's like, I'm cool whether you think so or not. I don't really care. I like that.
Oh.
Maybe
All right,
that's
Lee.
my
Well,
ex.
since we
Not
since
that
we
kind
have
of vibe.
since we have Lee here, it's a rare appearance by Mr. Lee. So we're gonna ask him one more question.
The
Can you
genius
give
behind the
us
scenes.
Can you give us any slang that we have not mentioned so far that we wouldn't know?
Oh God, no.
You mentioned
Well,
one in the chat.
I got one.
That's just a meme.
Oh, it's a meme. Oh, what's a meme, Lee? What's a meme?
A meme is pretty much propagative bullshit on the internet that self-propagates because of the internet. But it's funny because everyone else is doing it.
It's usually humorous as well, right? A meme is usually humorous, isn't it?
Clever. It's usually at least clever, yeah.
Yeah.
Humorous or clever, I think. All right, Lee, if you got no words for us, I'm kicking you out of here.
See ya.
See ya.
He's like, I did not sign up for this part.
I know, he didn't want to be there in the first place. Yeah, the meme culture is really interesting, actually. It might be a good topic for another time. Okay.
Well, I had a word. I had a
what is it?
slang word.
What is it?
Majestic.
No. That's just a word.
Well, what does it mean? Majestic. What does it mean in Gen Z slang?
Is it
It's used in
a Gen
it's
Z
used in
slang
high
word?
school. Yes, it's
What is-
majestic.
What does it mean?
Well, we used to, in my age, we used to say mentally retarded. Yeah,
Majestic was mentally retarded?
Well, that's what we used to say, right? Any one of our peers that was, had Down syndrome or was, some sort of, when they're slow or whatever the words were. And of course, all those words aren't allowed to be said anymore, which is hilarious if you watch some of these old shows and they use them. But majestic is what the high school kids refer to people like that. They're majestic.
Okay.
I think it's kind of nice. I think it's a
Must
nice
have
way
been
to look at it.
regional.
Let's unpack this a little bit. This is important. First of all, the word is rooted in magistry, right? So, which is like kings and queens and all the pomp and circumstance that goes around.
Yeah, I know what majestic is.
Okay, so you're using a word that means like royalty.
Yeah.
For people, ironically, for people that are dumb.
I don't know that they're dumb. They're just different.
Oh, they're different. Okay, so
yeah, I don't think that they're dumb because I've met lots of young men who have like Down syndrome and that. They're amazing in a lot of ways.
you're talking about actual Down syndrome people, not just people. Okay, so when I grew up,
it's a blanket statement. They just cover everybody. All the odd kids. They don't refer to them by, so sort of an insulting sort of slang. They use the word majestic. It's the broad coverage of anyone.
yeah,
like
like
outsiders, outside the cliques.
gifted or something like that. But like in the 80s when I grew up, 80s and 90s, we called people retards because they would be acting stupid. But I would never say to an actual Down syndrome person that they were a retard. You know what I mean? Because that would be really rude,
Hurtful,
and offensive. Yeah, hurtful. But it was cool. It was okay, and it's actually coming back now to say that word when referring to just people acting dumb. Because people understood the difference. They know when you're trying to hurt someone and when you're just not. When you're just being playful.
Yeah.
But when you say, what's that?
There's a comedian that talks about the word gay. He says, I don't have anything against homosexuals. I, live and let live. But certain behaviors, that's gay. It's pretty funny to listen to. I wish I could remember who it was and point you to it. But words have meanings, and they might originate with a class of people, but then they take on a life of their own sometimes.
Right, which I'm trying to understand majestic. So you're talking about referring to people who actually had Down syndrome as like special, as like gifted. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like Special Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
got it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't.
Majestic.
Majestic. Cool. All right. Any other words from our day? You know, like radical.
How about Ginch?
What is ginch? Okay.
Ginch. The Ginch is a slang for underwear.
What?
It is.
All right. Okay.
It was.
Brenda and I are here in the greatest country on the planet, in America, and Bruce is in Canada. This
It's a
might
regional
explain. This might explain the difference.
The language barrier can occur within the English language.
Did you say
Yeah.
ginch? Ginch means
Yeah.
underwear.
Yeah, Ginch. Ginch.
Ginch. And how would you use that?
How would you use it?
Just talking about your
Yeah.
underwear?
Yeah, you got an extra pair of Ginch I could borrow?
Okay, all right.
You borrow ginch from your friends.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Dressing up like a woman.
Yeah. Are women's underwear also ginch?
Yeah, it was all
Guys,
Ginch.
It's all
He's
ginch.
borrowing ginch from his woman.
Well,
They're
she
more
don't want it
comfortable,
back.
I hear.
I'll tell you
Sad.
what. After he borrows it, she don't want it back. Okay. We're going to move on to our next topic today, which is about. So there are three types of stages in a relationship that we like to talk about, right?
Yeah.
There's the dating phase, which we call like short-term recreational, and then there's the interview process when you're ready to get serious and you want to actually get committed for long-term commitment. And then once you do that, there's the long-term committed relationship, right? So there's those three different categories. I think we've been focusing a lot on dating in the past few episodes, which is good. So I wanted to, in this one, talk a little bit more about the interview process. And I was thinking about, this isn't a new concept. But like, what did they refer to it before? And I was thinking like courtship, like they used to call it courtship. And I looked up like the definition of courtship, and that is what it was. Like when you were courting a woman, you weren't just courting a woman for like short term. Courting actually meant courting her for a long-term relationship.
Yep.
And so this section is called the Lost Art of Courtship because
The Lost Art.
it's like an art, and I don't think that we do it anymore.
It's definitely an important phase of the process.
That isn't done, is my point.
Anymore.
As much as it should be, yeah.
Well, I remember, courtship is, a lot of it was based on tradition and a lot of it was based on parental direction, like
Societal.
social norm,
Yeah.
social norm. It was like you had to do it. You had to go through it, right? As I recall. Not my own experience, but you had to go
You
through
didn't
it.
court Marlo?
What's
What's
that?
I bet you did. I bet you courted Marlo.
I moved in with Marlo 7 days after I met her.
Okay, never mind. I take it back.
I was a coworker at the dance studio. We were coworkers. She was actually my manager for 4 years. So we were like work friends, basically for 4 years. Got to know each other before we ever dated.
Is that a good thing?
I think so, because we really got to know each other without any of the pretense.
Right.
So I
You were
saw
trying
her
to-
in
Yeah, right.
I saw her in relationships and she saw me in relationships, and we weren't trying to like put our best foot forward for each other or whatever,
You got to see everybody's warts and all before you decided to become a romantic partner.
Or more like you saw all the warts and despite them, you decided to go ahead with a romantic courtship. Yeah.
Or maybe because of that. Who knows?
Well, I don't know what her rationale was, but mine is that she was gorgeous. So, that was a big part of it for me. I was able to look past pretty much anything else. But no,
Well, so let me ask you this: 4 years of being
she's perfect.
friends,
No, it's perfect.
4 years of being friends with your wife. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
And so during that 4 years, the entire 4 years, did you want to have sex with her?
Like Dr. Fauci, I plead the fifth.
Tell the truth.
So we get this, right? We always talk about men and women can't be friends. It's like if a man is friends with a woman,
Yeah.
he has a sexual interest in her.
Yeah.
Right? Whether or not he's going to admit it, not that he's going to act on it or be inappropriate or anything like that. Anyway, so that's my belief.
Well,
But if she said, "Hey, let's go," he's probably going to say,
he's
okay.
right there. Exactly.
yeah.
Which-
So in that industry, in the ballroom dance industry, there are, you might be surprised to find out there's some gay men in that industry. So other than the gay men
You're kidding
that
me.
met her, I think every man that met her was sexually attracted to her, wanted to sleep with her because she's gorgeous. So I mean,
And she carries herself so well too. I know your wife. She's a wonderful woman. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met her.
oh, we'll have to remedy that.
Okay.
All right. So this is about courtship. So, this little presentation I put together here, by the way, AI is amazing. You can do things very quickly with AI, and I'm not claiming every word of this thing, just so we know as we move forward. But what it is a good launching pad for us to talk about the things we normally talk about when it comes to the interview process. So we'll see how this goes. Real courtship is almost extinct. I think we're already agreed on that. In a world of low-effort apps and vibes, deliberate, respectful pursuit with clear intention towards commitment has been replaced by talking stages and situationships. So what's being said here? What is the vibe of this sentence that I terribly destroyed?
It's been replaced by talking stages and situationships. What the hell does that mean?
Okay, so in lieu of courtship, right?
Yes.
Instead of the traditional way that you would think of courtship happening,
Talking stages. Yeah.
there's now apps and vibes. I don't know what that means. So talking stages is like a way of saying that, you're seeing if you're interested in somebody, right? You're just at the talking stage. And a situationship is another term that we could have put in the Gen Z slang. Situationship is like, you don't really know where you're at, like maybe we slept together, maybe we didn't, maybe he says he likes me, but he's ghosting me, or she's acting interested, but she's dating other people. Situationship.
Sounds like it's not clear.
Yeah.
There's a relationship, but I don't really know what it is.
So basically, dating apps have made it more challenging to do real courtship, because courtship is intentional pursuit. The man leads. He makes his interests clear, creates structured opportunities for connection, and screens for long-term fit. I thought I was going to say benefit. Screens for long-term fit before investing deeply. So are they a match, right? Are they compatible?
Sure.
Okay. Well, what comes up for me right away is like, if someone is going to do courtship with somebody, they need to be qualified. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, otherwise they don't know what their values are. They don't know what their intention is. They don't know what they're looking
They don't know
for.
what they're interviewing for. Exactly.
So let's briefly touch on some qualifications for men and women in courtship. Bruce, what is it for a man? What is it that a man needs to do to be qualified to even start considering a long-term
first two that I can think of are a man must know his terms, and he must never compromise them. He also must be totally self-sufficient, not need her for anything. So there's 3 qualifications right that I can think of right off the hop.
Okay. What does totally self-sufficient look like?
Well, you don't need her for anything.
Okay. So if you have an apartment, your rent is $1,800 a month, and you have a $20 an hour job, and you can pretty much pay your rent and buy food, you don't need her for anything, right? Financially.
Financially, yeah.
So that's qualified. That's financially qualified to start interviewing for a long-term committed.
Well, financially, yeah, but the other parts of self-sufficient emotionally, that's a big one.
Well, hold on. I disagree with the financial part, because if that person loses their job, they're screwed, right? They have to go find another job. So I don't think that they are financially self-sufficient just because they make enough money to pay their rent.
So what you're saying is the bar is higher.
What I'm saying is that a man who, yeah, you need more financial security than that. If you're going to go into a long-term committed relationship, you need more than just the bare minimum of finances. You need to have had some kind of success in your life where you're doing better than average. That would be my opinion. That'd be the advice I'd give my son. You know, I'd be like,
did you follow it?
No.
No.
I didn't follow.
I'm just trying to lay down a little bit of reality, right? So
I didn't follow.
So as long
any
as
of it.
you're, like if you don't have a job, and you mean to go out and get one, but you just haven't got around to it, and you're maybe on welfare, getting your rent paid, and you go to the food bank for your groceries, and then you meet this woman who thinks the world of you, and so you just shoestring her along, and then next thing you know, you're gonna get married to her. Well, that's you're not being honest with her, right? For number one, and she, at the end of the day, you need to be at least paying your own way. I mean, because a lot of people, when they get married, they have a lot of potential, and there's things that they're working towards. Like I think you mentioned before, if 2 people are in college and they meet, they're getting their degrees and they have their potential career paths mapped out, but they're not there yet. But at least they have a plan, and they have the ambition to move forward, and they can, create that frame, that shows that, hey, look, this is who I am, and this is where I'm going, and like that, and
Right.
their game and their frame, and to me that's, and making enough money to survive, right, and a plan for the future. I don't think that you need to be. I mean, hell, if everybody waited till they're, especially in this day and age, till you're financially secure with assets and all sorts of things.
Kind of a mindset, and a strategy.
Yeah, that to me is financially, and maybe it's financially responsible as opposed to. But because if you're making it on your own, you're not going to get. It's like there's one of the 4 questions you should always ask your significant other. It's like, how much debt do you have, and what's your plan to repay it? That's a great interview question. And if the answer is, well, I was hoping maybe you'd help out with that, run away. That's a red flag, But that's a great question to ask in the interview process. What is your debt, and what is your plan to repay it?
Not necessarily on the first date.
Well, no, but this is the interview process, right? So we're assuming you're.
Right. Yeah.
So, but how much frame? When we're talking about frame now, how much frame can a man have if he doesn't have much money? If he doesn't have much resources, if he hasn't done anything in his life to become successful in any way, how much frame does he really have?
Frame is how you live your life. Frame is the way you're currently living your life, your standards, your disciplines, the way you operate. That's who you are. The things you will do, the things you won't do. It really has nothing to do with finances. Like,
well, let
a
me
man with.
I disagree with you. Before you go on, let me put it this way. I've been doing short-term recreational relationships, for a while, and this is hypothetical. I'm happily married for a long time.
All of a sudden, the bedroom door kicks open. What the hell?
I heard her coming. That's what happened. So, let's say I've been doing that, and I'm proficient at short term. I've done cold approaches with women. I accepted rejection. I've gotten to a point where I'm successful. I can get a date. I can get a phone number. I can go on a date. I can have a 2 or 3 month relationship, short term, with a woman and end it amicably. And now I'm like, I'm trying to get serious. I want to look for a long term. I'm actually going to be intentional about interviewing. So now when I meet a woman and I go on a date with her, the frame that she's stepping into, my frame that she's stepping into is, I am looking for a serious long-term relationship. I am interviewing for someone compatible for me, right? But if you are a $20 an hour day laborer, that is a much weaker frame for her to step into. You're not holding the stronger frame for that higher status woman that you would want to have in a relationship.
Your terms don't dictate anyone's behavior but your own. They're nothing to do with her. She just has to work around them. And so, like, you're trying to, and again, a $20 day laborer, as you say, doesn't have a financial trajectory necessarily, right? Like the way you make it sound is like, he's stuck digging ditches. It's all he knows. He's going to keep digging those ditches till he falls over on his shovel and can't do it anymore. Okay, well, I mean, maybe that's okay for him, and maybe that's the way he wants to get through his life. So he'll attract the kind of woman that is okay with that, because maybe he has all sorts of amazing qualities in other areas. Maybe when he puts that shovel down, he's into some higher purpose work that's just amazing, and it's all volunteer, whatever, and she's drawn to that. And maybe she's the doctor and she's making a ton of money. So I don't really think that it's really, if you're okay with your own finances. Most men know if they're okay with their own finances or they're not. They know, right? So you either have your plan or you've resigned yourself to who you want to be and you're okay with it. That's what I mean by financial, being sufficient, financially self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's important to find a woman that's on the same page and that you have the same forward view. The ideal relationship is where you look at each other with stars in your eyes, but where you're looking in the same direction and you see the same path. And too often what I've seen too many times where a man, because we're talking about a man's terms right now, it's like he's happy with his $20 an hour day labor job. He doesn't have ambition to own the company. He doesn't have ambition to own, his own business. He's just like, I'm happy. I have all my needs are met. I have plenty of time to take care of myself. And then he meets a woman who has ambition and she wants to be traveling and retire early. So it's important for the two of them to talk realistically without the stars in your eyes. What's our future going to look like? Because I think that's where a lot of the long-term relationships fall apart, is they were looking at each other with sprinkles and stars in their eyes instead of looking down the road to saying, what does a partnership 20 years from now for us actually look like? I know I've been there. I've done that.
Sure. Based on the information from MLD and the amount of women that are out there available that men are attracted to, it just seems like if you're going into that arena, for me, if you're going into that arena of interviewing, you're sifting through to find the best that's compatible with you. And in order to get the best, you would have to be the best, right? To have that frame. That was kind of my I was thinking.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, money, muscles, game, and frame, right? And how it goes. So, but it depends what you're looking for, right? Like, it's a different world out there. I don't know. I mean, if I was a young man, I would not be looking online for a woman. I don't see why I would do that. I would go out and find her the traditional way.
Yeah, I agree. Dating apps seem terrible to me. I've never
joining
done one.
co-ed sports teams and leagues and going to taking up dancing. I don't know, whatever. Just any place you would go and meet people in person. That would be your
Partner
best
dancing.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Country for Arizona, like country dancing. You should learn how to
Yep.
country dance for sure, like partner
Yeah.
dancing. Okay, before we move on though, you brought up another subject that I want to talk about: terms and frame. So you say, I'm gonna challenge you on this a little bit, Bruce. You say
Thank you.
that terms only affect you, right? Is that how it goes? Terms only.
They affect nobody's behavior but your own.
Okay, they only affect your behavior. But once someone steps inside of my terms, when you said that like a woman has to learn to like understand what your terms are and then move around them or something like that.
Yeah, flow around them. I
Okay.
don't like the term steps inside his terms. That's I don't.
Well,
I don't see how
inside of his world, like
Okay.
his frame, basically. So, in other
Yeah, but
words,
you just understand the frame. Nobody goes in the frame but the man. The women's outside of the frame. She can push against the frame. She can test the frame. And eventually, if the frame holds firm, she will flow around the frame. And she will depend on the frame. And she will know that it will never move, change, or budge. And she could count on it.
It's like the rock.
but
like the rock.
frame, if you're flowing around his frame, that is a behavior, right? So it does change her behavior. She has to go around it.
Yes.
So his terms or frame are affecting her behavior.
Well, we're taught to make friends with his frame, ego, behavior. Make friends with it, not
Yeah,
try to,
that would be
change
you. That would
Not
be you
compete
fitting
with it.
into his frame.
Have a relationship with it.
have a relationship with it. Yeah,
and-
but
and-
we don't change it, but we
Yeah.
have a relationship with it.
And
or
if you
not.
do it, and if you do that, he will see you as an asset
because you're
instead of a
fitting-
liability.
Because you're fitting into his frame.
Yeah, because you give him peace.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
That begs me to want to say something. Is that okay?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I teach the women that I work with who are looking to create relationships is it's your job to find a man that's compatible with you, someone who matches your values. It's your job to identify if this man is compatible with you. It's not your job to be compatible with him. It's his job to decide if you're compatible with his terms, his what he's looking for. So my job as a woman is to be 100% authentic and transparent and real so that he can determine whether or not I'm going to be compatible. And it's the same with the man. It's your job to hold your frame, hold your position, know who you are and show that to the world, show that to me so that I know if you're compatible with me. If you're wearing a mask, then I'm going to fall in love with the mask and want to have a lifetime with the mask. And then the real guy comes out 6 months later and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So when and I just wanted to say that because you're talking about her fitting into his, making friends with his frame. That's only if you've decided that he's a compatible partner. You want to be in his world. Then you make sure that you do the work to be cohesive.
Yeah, and it's simple things, like I always think, because they ask, well, how do you, what's an example of that? Like, how would you reveal yourself without asking direct questions? But, to me, it's like you're sitting in a restaurant and there's a little kid at the next table, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and they're in their high chair and they're carrying on. You see sometimes, right, crying, they don't want to eat anything. They're just freaking out. And as the woman would say something like, oh, I just love kids. Right. And there it is. Right. Then the man, what is his reaction? Watch him. He's looking at this bratty kid going crazy and she loves kid. And right there, you'll see very clearly what he really thinks. So it's little testers like that you're always looking for opportunities as a woman to reveal and then to see the reaction.
Create situations where he has to show up and then see how he shows up without telling him what you want to see.
Yeah.
Like you said we said last week or the week before. I just lost my thought. Oh, it'll come back or not.
Okay, it'll come back or not.
Hold on to it. Let me know. And
We got medication for that.
We're going to click through this
I think I need
PowerPoint a
some.
little bit more.
Go ahead.
So lead, he initiates and sets the direction. Declare, interest is stated and never implied. And screen, fit is assessed before investment. So these are aspects of the courtship that he initiates.
Okay.
What does it actually look like? Clear intent, real dates that are planned by him, provider and leader qualities demonstrated through actions and follow through, not words. So what are let's talk about maybe 2 qualifications of a woman before, like a suggested qualification before she decides it's time to look for a long-term committed.
Well, one is to have been in love 3 times. And the reason for that is because she knows what love feels like. And she can bring that into her when she gets married. She can bring that passion, that being in love energy into her long-term relationship, her marriage. Another
And
one.
by love, you mean that giddy brain chemistry?
Yeah, the fun, the goofy, the in love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the temporary insanity thing.
Right, and that's the spice that keeps the polarity in the marriage. Yeah.
Sure. So
Yep.
she has a point. She has a point of reference.
Right. She's been there, done that. Another thing, there are, I think, eight that we've learned. Another
7.
one. There's 7 for the women.
Yeah.
Another one that I would mention in this context is to be proficient at short-term recreational dating. What was the Gen Z term for that? Butterflying or something like
Wildflowering?
that. Wildflowering, yeah. To be proficient at that, because then you know how to be in your long-term relationship. Another thing that's important about I like that word, wildflowering. Another thing about that is every stage of the dating process, every stage of the relationship building is an important stage. And you want to be complete with each stage before you move into the next one, so that you don't get into a marriage and think, I never really dated very much. I kind of miss it. I'd like to go back and do that again. And that's when the dissatisfaction, when the boring parts of the marriage come up. You want to know that you've already done that. You've already done that. And now you're here. And you can put all your energy into creating the magic in where you're at instead of wishing you were somewhere else.
It's also building a resume for the man that you want from a woman's perspective. You know, the things you like about men, traits that, and the things you don't, and that's a great place to start your compatibility ratio, which is all the things that, in a particular man. Here's the things I like. What qualities of those does he have? And here's the things I don't like. What qualities of those does he have? And then that's where you get your ratio continuum, compatibility ratio continuum.
Yeah,
and then of course you've got your 3 majors. I always call the 3 major flags that you could start with before you get into the actual nitty gritty of it. The personality traits is the relationship with the father, relationship with the mother, and the environment they grew up in. Because you can dollars to donuts when things get tough in a down the road with kids in a household, things get stressful. You will revert to the way you were, the environment you grew up in, unless you've done
unless you've done the work. Yeah, and that would be the conversation to have. Is like, so this is how you grew up, and how are you going? What work have you done? How are you going to ensure that you don't revert back to that when the energy gets tough?
Yeah, how aware are you of the toxic environment you grew up in, for example, if it wasn't such. And another great thing to do is go to dinner with the family, go into that dynamic in the half relationship. See what the Sunday dinner is like. That's very revealing if you're paying attention.
Right. I love what you said, Bruce, about, this is how you learn what you want and what you don't want in your relationship, is when you go out there and you date a lot of different people. And, because in the stands, when you're looking down and thinking, it's like, well, I would like a blue collar man. I would like a white collar professional man. I used to work in law firms, and I always thought it's logical for me to want to date a lawyer or somebody of that caliber. But that's that's not who I am. That's not what I want. So out on the field, I learned that I like a blue collar man. I like a man that can fix things, that can do things, that's got rough hands and, you know, a sunburned forehead. You know, that's what being taken care of means to me, as a man that can do things.
Redneck.
A white collar man can pay for things, and that's fine too, but that's not compatible with who I am. And I wouldn't know that unless I was out there in the field dating.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And the other another qualification for women is to be fully self-acceptant.
Right. That's a tricky one.
It is very tricky.
Yeah.
It's very tricky.
Yeah, and have no unresolved issues with your dad. Accept all the parts of your mother, because you're going to become the parts of her that you don't like.
If you haven't accepted.
If you haven't accepted, or if you haven't come to terms with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And be willing to make friends with a man's ego and leave mine at the door. You know, we all have an ego, and our ego plays an important role, but two egos in one relationship is not harmony.
I always find that kind of ironic, because in the half relationship, a woman always caters to the man's ego, you know, at the beginning, right? And then sometimes she stops. But it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Wait a minute, you did it here to get him here. Now you're going to stop?
That's where he needs to stand firm and be a rock.
Yeah.
It's like,
sure.
These are, you know, the dynamic that we created in forming this relationship still applies. And then any renegotiation needs to be happening between both of them, not her just saying, okay, you got to do things my way. And he's like, okay, honey. You know, that doesn't work either, because then that energy shifts, and you don't have that masculine and feminine polarity.
That's why it's so,
you know, it's also in general terms, you know, there are relationships that work. I know relationships where he's more on the feminine side and she's more on the masculine side, and it works great, but there's a polarity, and it's agreed relationship.
Yeah.
You're getting ahead of some of the presentations I have coming up, which is fun.
I didn't see your presentation.
We're right on topic, though. It's good. I did want to bring something up, though, since it came up. What was it about ego? I was having a conversation with one of my counterparts in this organization, and we were writing a piece. So I don't want to call her out, but she. I told her that she should come on the show. I said, you should come on the show. She's like, Sundays are family. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Maybe we'll record something, you know, separately, and we'll bring it on as a recorded piece.
Sure.
But we were talking about ego, and this goes back to the beginning of this episode when we were talking about DNA, like survival instincts being passed on through DNA, if we all agree with that or not. Yeah. And for men, we are the killers. We are the dirty work doers. We always have been. We have been in charge of protecting the tribe from invaders and killing animals for food and all that kind of stuff, doing the dirty work. And then as these killers and, you know, you could argue psychopaths that have to go out there and do this crazy dirty work, we then have to come back into the village and act like normal people. And the village has to kind of accept us as, well, these are killers, but they're actually also normal people, because look how they're acting. They're being very normal and nice.
Well, that's why marriage was invented.
Well, hold on. I agree. But so all I'm saying is that when it comes to ego, because men, we use our egos to compete. We use our egos to be the best, right? The best hunter, the best warrior, or whatever it is. And so then we would come home into a relationship with the village or with our family, and we would have to curb that ego to some extent in order for anything to survive, because ego, as we all understand, kills relationships, right? So men over thousands and thousands of years have had this practice of using their ego in one area of life and then coming home and having to curb that ego for the survival of those relationships. This is a new thing in society that women have started doing. using their ego in the workforce, going out and working and competing with men, and because of technology and advancements, they can do that now, and using their ego out there, and then coming home. And it's, now I'm not trying to demonize women here. I'm just saying that from an evolutionary standpoint, they haven't had the same practice of turning it off when they get home.
100%. Yeah.
Well,
Just like
they
too
have
many.
My counterpart did not agree with me.
well, their ego is like a man's ego, because he's, as you say, he's needed it for survival. You could say, it's like a laser. Like, it's very direct. When a man unleashes his ego on a target, it's deadly. By the same token, though, once the objective's achieved, he has a real ability to shut it off. And with a woman, it's more like a flamethrower. When it gets out of control, it's like you'll get burned. The couch will get burned. The walls will be on fire. It's like you just go everywhere, right? And they don't know how to bring it back. And they're there to. A man unleashes his ego to prove a point and then gain an objective. A woman unleashes her ego to win.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. A simile would be two masculine egos in competition with each other. They know how to compete. They figure out who's the alpha, and they walk away with their arms around each other, and they know the pecking order now. When two women compete and one of them wins and then they walk away, it's not over yet. It's just begun. The woman who lost is going to destroy the winning woman through the community and the relationships. So women don't use that tool, I guess, the same way.
Well, and we talk about that in the Women's Weekend, where two women engage their egos. The woman who wins is the woman who's able to pull her ego in and bring a piece of the Woman's Weekend to that situation. Like, even as something as simple as, "Oh, those are beautiful shoes that you have. Where did you get them?"
Right.
And that's who wins. But it doesn't feel like winning to a lot of women to stand down, right? And that's.
But it feels so much better when you learn that. I know before I did my Women's Weekend almost 20 years ago, I was very ego driven. I had a very masculine approach to life and everything. And I didn't know what I didn't know, because that's the way I grew up, right? That's the way I lived. And then once I did the Women's Weekend and became more acquainted with my feminine energy, when those opportunities to step into my masculine energy, it doesn't feel good to me. It feels very hype. I get hyped up and I get that energy thrumming in me in not a good way. To be able to really lean into and rest in my feminine energy and say, "Nice shoes. I love your hair, cute makeup." I saw a video this morning, female cat calling female, "Hey girl, your hair looks awesome today." That's fun. That's the feminine energy in action.
Yeah.
I think we got off topic,
Cat
didn't we, Adam?
calling great again.
Yeah, right. Not everything you see on Facebook is negative. Some of it's pretty quite awesome. But using your power and your attention to build someone up versus tear them down. It says a lot about who you are, how you use your power and your energy.
For sure. All
But
right,
when you're talking about last thing I want to say about ego is when a woman's unleashing that ego, if a man doesn't understand what's going on, and he either engages and becomes emotional, which, as we tell men on the Men's Weekend, when a man becomes emotional, his life goes into the shitter. And I can't even think of one place in your life where being emotionally unhinged or overwhelmed or out of control is a positive for a man. So that's why the Men's Weekend is so imperative for men to understand the behavior of women, so they know that all they have to do is not that tough. Stand firm. Don't react. And the more you do that, the less she will engage. And that's the key in my book.
Well, yeah, when you have conflict, you have to have two participants. Otherwise, your energy fades very quickly.
So I'll just say in closing, the counterpart that I spoke of, that she's a big part of the Ignite organization, and we co-write things together. That's what we were doing when this conversation came up. She is very successful. She's a very successful woman. She's a very powerful woman, and she has a very successful family and home life. So she wasn't saying that it wasn't true. I don't think she was just saying it wasn't true for her, that she was able to turn it off. But it was just an interesting conversation because she was talking about being in a room of men, of businessmen, and she's the woman and she's engaged in her masculine energy and what that's like. And I really want to have that segment with her. And she said she has some other friends that might be good to have, like, create a panel and talk about, like, women who are successful in business and then go home and have a feminine soft side. I think that would be interesting.
Which is how we all got started in the first place, way back in the 80s.
All right, we're going to move on.
Yeah,
the next section here is, what is love? What is love to a woman? What is love to a man? Let's see if we nailed it in the PowerPoint presentation here. What is love? Oh, you get two different answers depending on who you ask, right?
Sure.
And they're both true.
Okay.
To a man, being accepted for who he is unconditionally. True?
Yeah, unconditional acceptance for a man is more important to a man than sex. As hard as that may be to believe.
Hard to believe. It is.
It's harder to find.
Yeah, it's harder to find. If he had a choice, he would take unconditional acceptance.
To a woman.
Because,
go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, well, I just think about the law of love, right? Which is whoever receives the benefit, whoever is receiving the love must receive the benefit, right? So, so in other words, because we talked about one of the qualifications being in love 3 times, right? Which is, well, we were talking about something different, right? That sort of feeling, that euphoria you feel when you first meet somebody, you can't wait to see them again, you got butterflies in your stomach and all of that, right? That's a different thing. This here, it's tangible, right? There has to be a tangible result of being loved. Otherwise, how do you measure it? How do you know it's happening? It's not a romantic novel, right? So for a man to be accepted unconditionally, and many women just can't do it, even when they know that that's what they need to do. And the message they're sending, like to their children, for example, like say their daughter who's supposed to go out the door after fearing men her whole life or being taught that men are dangerous and all that. And then seeing that her own dad is not accepted unconditionally by her mom. What message are you sending? It's generational.
And that's where the dating situation comes in. If you're not able to accept this man unconditionally, you need to reconsider whether this is a compatible partner. And a man needs to show up 100% so that she knows if she can accept him unconditionally.
Yeah. And a lot of women, they'll criticize the man. So and when you criticize a man, it's kind of like you're saying, I'm criticizing you because you're not the man I want you to be. Maybe you're going to be that man in the future, but you're not that man right now. And so that's why I'm criticizing you, because I want to move you to be that man that I want you to be. And this is never going to work. You need to accept him for who he is now. And we even have a little theory or a little exercise that women can practice to practice accepting the man unconditionally. Marlo came up with it. It's interesting.
What is it?
Well, it's like you get up Saturday morning, for example, and you're sitting with your coffee by yourself, and you make a conscious decision to accept your man unconditionally for the next 24 hours. You're not going to criticize anything he says, anything he does, anywhere he goes. You're going to accept him unconditionally and have that in your brain all the time. 24 hours, not the end of the world, right? And if it doesn't kill you, try another 24 hours. Or maybe you just hold it to Saturdays for a month and then slowly add days. I don't know. But I think it can be something that can be learned because it's very important.
Agreed.
On the woman's side, because they need to both be in harmony.
Yeah, to love to a woman is being taken care of.
Right. And being taken care of to me means you do the things that you said you were going to do. And you want to be accepted unconditionally, you need to do the things that you said you were going to do. You know, when you're doing what you're supposed to do and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, both sides can easily take care of the other. If one of us isn't doing what we're supposed, if I'm not accepting my partner unconditionally, he's not going to want to take care of me. So it's important to stay in harmony. Make sure you're doing your part so that your partner can feel the love. Like you said, Bruce, the recipient of the love needs to get the benefit, right?
Yes.
When I'm doing my part, then he's inspired to do his part just naturally.
Right. We have a 14 karat wisdom and a golden nugget. We just flip it around. It's something like the degree to which a woman accepts her man unconditionally is equal to the degree to which her husband will be able to take care of her.
100%, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can flip that around the other way too. So it's the
and
same
anything
thing.
That's not me, anything I see in my world is a reflection of me. So if I see something I don't like in my relationship, I need to look and see, how am I creating that? What's my behavior that's creating that energy out there, even if it's just my perception? It's so important that we all just take responsibility for our own part. Instead of pointing fingers and saying it's your fault. It's not you might be doing a behavior that is unacceptable to me, but what am I doing that's making that present in my world?
Sure.
Neither is a demand. Each is a condition under which the other can be met.
It's a
Sounds
gift.
like what we're saying, yeah?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Accepted for who he is. A man feels loved when his core self, strengths, flaws, ambitions, quirks, and drive is embraced without constant judgment, criticism, or attempts to change him.
Yeah, women have a tendency to choose a fixer-upper. I can change him.
Acceptance of his essence, not his performance or utility. What it looks like and what it doesn't. It does look like when she trusts his leadership and decisions without second guessing or undermining. What it doesn't look like is constant criticism, nagging, or fixing his personality.
Well, Jesus.
What it does look like is she supports his goals and growth without making him feel inadequate. What it doesn't look like is conditional approval based on earnings, status, or behavior. What it does look like is she offers respect and admiration even during his low periods. What it doesn't look like is withholding affection or respect when expectations are not met. It does look like intimacy flowing from genuine desire, not obligation. What it doesn't look like is treating him like a project or an emotional dumping ground.
Ouch.
And she stands by him publicly and privately as her man. She doesn't do public belittling or unfavorable comparisons to others. That's to a man.
That one makes me cringe.
How about to a woman? A woman feels loved when she experiences consistent provision, protection, and care, safe, cherished, and supported in her feminine role. Care is proven by consistency, not by intensity in isolated moments. What it looks like and what it doesn't look like. It looks like he provides emotional stability, financial direction, and physical security. What it doesn't look like is emotional unavailability, inconsistency, or leaving her to carry the load. It does look like he leads with decisive plans and handles problems proactively. What it doesn't look like is passivity or expecting her to lead and make every decision. It does look like offering presence, affection, and shelter from unnecessary stress. It does not look like selfish focus on his needs while ignoring hers. It does look like he creates a container where she can relax into her femininity. It does not look like hot and cold affection or protection only when convenient. It does look like consistent acts of care, from big commitments to daily thoughtfulness, and it doesn't look like financial or emotional neglect while still demanding her support.
I think what it boils down to in all instances is safety, physical, emotional, or mental safety, or spiritual safety. Because when a woman feels unsafe or uneasy, then life is uncomfortable, and it's hard to be in your feminine when you feel like you have to survive instead of thrive.
Sure.
All right. Love is built through intention and action over time. And it's not declared
That's the other
one.
thing. Yeah,
Demonstrated
love,
yet.
love. I saw. Yeah, love is love is a muscle that can be developed. You know, well, you could. Well, you know, so many people get married under, I will say, false pretenses or expectations that never materialize. But whatever the situation, when you're in a marriage, now you have a decision to make. Are you going to make a go of it or not? And what I'm saying is that love is a muscle that you can develop. A woman can learn to love a man unconditionally, and a man could learn to take care of his woman. So that's the hope, and a lot of it's just being aware that that is your job, the respective jobs, right? So many people, they're in marriages, they have no idea. They have no idea that that's their job. So how do you do your job if you don't know what it is?
And just like any job, it doesn't always feel good.
No, it rarely feels good.
All right, we have a video here. So there's a piece that we've been developing through Ignite called The River and the Rock. The river represents the feminine energy, the rock represents the male energy. So we're going to play this this video to start us off.
Imagine standing beside a wide, dry riverbed. The banks are high and steep, stretching far into the distance, while the riverbed itself is empty, dry, silent, and waiting. That dry riverbed represents a long-term committed relationship, what we call the third entity. It exists before the water arrives. It is the place where two people will eventually build a life together. Now look down into the middle of that riverbed. There is a massive boulder anchored deep into the earth. It doesn't wobble, it doesn't shift, and it doesn't apologize for taking up space. That rock represents the masculine presence in the relationship. It represents the man, his core values, his terms, and his character. Up ahead, the river bends out of sight. Suddenly you hear a distant rumble. It grows louder and louder until, around the corner, comes a massive wall of water moving with incredible force, barely contained by the high riverbanks. That water represents feminine energy, powerful, beautiful, alive, and full of purpose. It rushes down the riverbed at breathtaking speed and crashes.
Oh, we lost Adam.
Whoa. The water immediately begins searching. It pushes, it swirls, it tests every surface, looking for a weakness, a crack, or a place where the rock can be moved. But when it discovers there aren't any, something remarkable
Water
happens.
stops trying to move the rock. Instead, it naturally begins to flow around it, not because it has been forced to, but because it has discovered something it can trust. The river continues downstream, stronger because it now has direction. That is the purpose of a man's terms. Not to control the relationship, but to give it something solid to flow around. Strong marriages are not built because the water stops testing the rock. They are built because the rock never stops being the rock. When a man's character remains consistent, a woman no longer has to manage the man. She is free to manage the relationship, and together they create something neither could create alone, a river that runs for a lifetime. Join us at igniteweekends.com to find out how you can attend our transformational weekends.
Transformational indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, that of course is Bruce's voice there. I don't know, is that AI or is that your actual voice?
That's my voice.
That's you.
You disappeared on us there for a sec, so I just took up the narrative.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, it's funny. That's what the feminine energy feels like sometimes, like it's running to overflow the banks, like it's out of control. And then meeting that solid foundational rock is comforting and quieting and calming. It's a very good analogy.
Well, it's such a good analogy that I decided to expand on it for this section, and a piece that I'm calling "Where the Water Meets the Stone."
Imagine stand.
So basically, you know, it's a nice analogy. It works really well. But it's it's kind of ethereal. It's kind of out there. It's not super specific. Like we're gonna like to really get into it and see what does it look like where that water meets that stone, right? Where the feminine and the masculine collide. So let's start by agreeing, or not, maybe, on what these are. So the water is representing the feminine. The stone is representing the masculine. Do we have any issues with feminine being described as flows, receives, yields, and multiplies, creates the conditions for life to continue, and masculine stone holds, directs, penetrates, and protects, provides the structure that makes flourishing possible?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Next. So now we're going to do like a side-by-side comparison of these attributes, right? So for water, or feminine energy, it is accepting, which means it's allowing, it approves, it receives. We're talking about the man, right? She's receiving the man as normal, like accepting him for who he is. Like he doesn't need to change. And the masculine is penetrative. Penetrative. Moves into. Masculine energy moves into or enters, makes contact with. Do we like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more, again, back to the rock. It just plants itself and never moves. That's the analogy, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, yeah. The river and the rock. It's a good analogy, but I mean, you can't attribute every aspect of a rock to masculine energy, right? Rocks don't do much.
Yeah, I think the rock now analogy is meant to show a man's terms.
I understand.
Yeah, that's like his frame, as MLD would say, his frame.
Right, but we're talking about the point of this is where the water meets the stone, right? This is where feminine energy meets masculine energy. Like things can go good, things can go awry, things can be confusing, things can be chaotic. Things are happening. But to understand, first we have to agree that masculine energy, whether it's masculine energy from a woman, or masculine energy from a man, or feminine energy from a man, or feminine energy from a woman, either way, the feminine energy is more accepting. I mean, you just think about like a penis and a vagina. I mean, it's like one is penetrative, one is accepting, right? That's just the way that the energy works.
And that's a very good metaphor too. The sexual act is very masculine, penetrative, feminine, accepting, receiving.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then so she will multiply. She will take what is given and make more of it.
Good or bad.
Right. So he adds. So he will sacrifice his time, himself, whatever it is, part of himself. He'll sacrifice something to add that she will then multiply, right? Okay.
Right.
Next, she follows and he leads. This is a tough one. It's a tough one. Ladies today, they don't want to follow.
We had that older man Henning on the call the other day, and he said, he told me once, he goes, I don't always need to be driving the bus as long as I know it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's one of his Henningisms. And I agree with that to some degree.
Well, and there's this thing called decision fatigue, where the woman, especially when she's the full-time house caregiver and family caregiver, she makes a lot of decisions, and she doesn't. I can speak for myself. I don't have kids at home, but I take care of the house. And what do you want for dinner? I don't want to decide. I'll cook anything you want me to, but I'm get so exhausted by making decisions. I don't want to decide every day. I don't want to decide where we're going on vacation every time. I don't want to decide what we're going to do tonight. I don't want to decide what we're having for dinner. So it's very nice for me to be able to follow my man's lead when he says, let's have steak and potatoes. It's like, all right, got it. I'll make it.
Right.
Yeah. And,
well, also if it's honey, great job cooking the dinner. Now I'll clean up for you. You're like, okay. So he's cleaning up, and they say, where does this pan go? Where does the glasses go? Where does this go? Where does that go? And it's like, just get out of the way. I'll do it myself.
It's like, don't you live here?
So, as a man, if you take something on, just do it to the best of your ability, and don't ask questions.
And the to best of your ability part is relevance. Like, don't put the bowls where the plates go. You know where they go, or if you don't, you should.
Right.
Pay attention.
So there was two types of country two-step that we taught back when we taught dance lessons. One was progressive and one was rhythm. And progressive two-step travels across the floor pretty quickly. And so as the leader, as the man, I'm leading and she's backwards. She cannot see where we are going at all. But she's having a great time surrendering to the lead of the man. She's having one of the best times she could ever have in her life. I tell you right now, a woman who follows a man in dancing is having a great time. I can guarantee you that. But she's also making him look good, because the way she moves as he is leading her to do all these things, she is doing the flourishes and making him look like he's a genius on the dance floor because he's the one leading it all, right? So it's this dynamic of him leading and keeping them safe and deciding what's going to happen while she is trusting and having a great time while making him look good. That is the dynamic of a leader and a follower on the dance floor. And I just think it really applies here.
And that's a beautiful analogy. And I want to just add the piece, as long as he's leading decisively.
Sure.
Because I have been dancing with men that I did not trust to lead me safely. And I felt like I had to keep looking over my shoulder because he was going to run me into somebody. So as long as he's leading decisively and she can trust his leadership, then she's going to have a great time having, she doesn't have to look. All she has to do is lean into him and feel the energy of where he's going because he knows what he's doing. He's leading decisively. I think it's important to bring that because, a lot of this, women are just like, but how do I do that? This guy's not going to lead me into success. This guy's going to lead us into ruin. You have to choose your partner wisely at the beginning.
Yeah, that's it.
100%.
That's the key.
100%. All right. What else we got here? Feminine energy is nurturing. It cares for the growth and the life, while the masculine energy is providing. It supplies with what life needs. The feminine energy is warm and soft, emotional and open feelings, while the masculine energy is cold and hard, emotional control. Not emotionless, but emotional control to stay on mission, right? Someone has to have their head on straight.
That one can be a little challenging for women sometimes until they understand the importance, until they're with an emotional man who's out of control. Mm-hmm. But emotions are welcome. Being controlled by your emotions is scary.
Yeah. right? The feminine energy is creative. It generates, it invents, it brings forth. The masculine energy is systematic, orders, it structures, it builds. But at the same time, well, actually, that's the next one. So female energy is protected. So it receives the covering and the safety of the male masculine energy, which is protective. It covers, defends, and stands between. But related to the creative and systematic, the feminine energy is the perpetuator, which continues the line, sustains the cycle, keeps things going, where the masculine energy is the initiator, starts the movement, it begins the action.
Okay.
You know, and it's important to stay in this conversation. It's so easy to lose track of some of these things. That's why we have the classes after the weekends, to stay in the conversation, to continue to do the work, to continue to integrate these lessons.
Well, you got to go over and over this stuff. I mean, it's in order to incorporate it into your life. I mean, 20 years ago when I started this work, there's no way I had this language or understanding.
Right.
There's no way.
Well, and I still see nuances. Like, yeah, I can lean into that a little bit more.
So here we have just something showing that the majority of men fall somewhere in here. So the idea is that there's masculine and feminine energy in everybody and in everything. So here would be an example. The top bar is 100% masculine energy and 0% feminine energy in a man, which would be pure masculine expression from a man. It's probably pretty rare, and 100% would be impossible, but that would just be the top, right? And then the bottom would be a man who his masculine energy is equal to his feminine energy, making him androgynous as far as it goes with like energy.
What is androgynous? Is that like non-sex? Like you're not clearly defined one way or the other?
Yeah.
Asexual.
I think it was in the late 80s, 90s, Saturday Night Live had a skit called "It's Just Pat." It was just like female, male looking. Before this was like a controversial, like normal thing. Now it was a non-binary person who you couldn't quite tell if it was a male or a female, and it was like there was a whole theme song, it's trips with androgyny or whatever, but it's just Pat. So yeah, androgynous means you can't tell, man or woman. I can't tell your energy, masculine or feminine. So the point is, the majority of men are somewhere in between here, right? And I would say the average would be like 80-20, right? 80 masculine, 20 feminine.
Sure.
Right? So then same thing with women, right? You can have super feminine and somewhere in between, right?
Yeah.
The point of this is that there's masculine energy and feminine energy in both, right? And you can be different amounts of different combinations of those two energies, right?
And that's not wrong. It just is. It just is.
It just is. That's right.
You need a balance, though. That's the key.
Yeah, but I mean, it's wrong if it's wrong. It's wrong maybe for you personally. If you're like, hey, I want a super feminine woman, then a 50-50 androgynous woman is wrong for you, right? It's just not. There's no societal.
It's not wrong. It's incompatible.
Well, incompatible means wrong for that person, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
one of the important things about that is you've got to have the polarity between the masculine and the feminine in a relationship to have that spark. The more masculine one person is, the more feminine the other needs to be. As this person moves closer to the center, this person's going to move closer to the center too, and then you're not going to have any polarity.
Exactly what this is about. And Brenda, I'm going to let you read it because you're right on it.
So both, where water meets stone, masculine and feminine both exist in everyone. Every man carries water. Every woman carries stone. The question is proportion and polarity. One side of the equation will try to seek a balanced mirror image of the other. Trying to force an imbalanced relationship just won't work. 50-50 is not the goal. Equal ratio dissolves the tension that creates attraction, direction, and life. The meeting requires difference. The closer the individuals are to androgyny, the less polarity attraction exists between them. That's where you get the brother-sister energy.
Yep.
The edge is the power. The place where the hard meets the soft is where creation happens. Structure meeting flow. Direction meeting reception. A natural hierarchy establishes, and the yin and yang are balanced. That polarity is the spark. That's the part that's exciting. And, you know, when a woman in her feminine has a man in his masculine, she might feel a little bit of that danger, if you will, that not quite safe. You don't want to be too safe in your relationship. You want to have that excitement, that surprise every once in a while. Your partner's going to show up with a little bit of an edge that you weren't expecting. That brings the excitement. When your partner is 100% predictable, and then you get the brother sister energy.
I like to say a man should be dangerous in a good way.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Hey, Bruce, how's your cigar doing? How are we doing on time? It's getting down there.
Our timer is
All right, we're gonna move on then. The stone does not become water. The water does not become stone. They meet, and in the meeting, life moves.
Yeah.
And now we have the wonderful world of TikTok.
Where are the masculine men? Isn't this the question back in the 80s when they first started doing women's weekends? They came and said, "Where are these masculine men you keep speaking of?"
Yeah.
And that's when the men's weekend started.
So, okay. We're getting into the video section of today's podcast. So here's how I want this to work. I've curated many things for us to observe. If you have something to say, just start talking. So this is another thing is I've realized that it's better to run the video through a shared screen versus trying to upload it to the StreamYard. So it's now more, it doesn't freak out if I pause and unpause. So we're good on that. So if you have something to say about what we're watching, just start talking, and I'll hear you and I'll pause it. That way, because it's going to be there's a lot of video here to go through, and there's probably conversation that we want to have while we're doing it. And keep in mind the context of these videos is where the water meets the stone. You know, we're talking about masculine and feminine energy here. Here we go.
All these men are saying, like, your girl shouldn't work at all. She should never have to pay a bill. There's no such thing as 50-50. And I treat my woman with gifts every day and pay all of her bills. The only thing she should have to worry about is looking pretty, getting her nails done. And where are these men? Because they don't exist where I live, and where do I sign up? I need one of those men, because that is literally what I deserve in life. So if
I think I
anybody
want one of those men.
where to find these men, leave it in the comments, because I need to know.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Women love masculine guys. So masculine's not like muscly, no, like all of that. It's like doing DIY, like being productive, sorting things out, like taking charge. That is masculine, and a lot of women like that.
This is one of the hottest attributes a man can have. This trait comes from a man who sets the tone, he sets the pace, he initiates plans, and this creates feminine openness, because women want a man who knows where he's going. This is a man who leads interactions and he doesn't control them. Leadership is not dominance. Leadership is direction. This can come from a man who listens more than he speaks. His presence is grounded and confident, and sometimes some of the quietest men are the ones who lead the room. This creates an environment where people can be themselves, including the feminine.
Most women want masculine men. I can't speak for everybody, okay? Most women want a man who's a provider. Most women want to feel safe with a man. When women's anything like me, they're tired of being strong all the time. They want a man that they can depend upon, a man who's independent, a man who leaves his life well, and who's strong, and who's courageous, man she can trust. Y'all, I'm indecisive. I want a man personally who can make decisions for me. Most
It
women
reminds me of
not as emotional as they are.
doing male hierarchy. We do a male hierarchy exercise where the man who's in a room of men. I mean, men always establish hierarchy wherever they go. And in a room full of men that you ask to establish male hierarchy, it's never it's not the abrasive leader, it's not the bully, it is what they're talking about here, the quiet, authoritative, the quiet voice in the room that commands presence. That's actually the top of the male hierarchy, and that's what they're talking about here.
And it's not the loudest man, like you said. Yeah.
No, never.
Most women want a man who's stable. Most women want a man who's strong-minded. Most women want a man who's assertive. Most women want a man who is dominant. Most women want a man who is wise.
Every woman and her mother wants a masculine man until a masculine man shows up.
The problem is women say that they want a masculine man until they get one. And then they realize that a lot of it's not going to fly. A lot of that attitude, men are not going to put up with.
You don't actually want a masculine man. You want control and a man that makes you feel safe while you keep it. And those are very, very different and difficult things to coexist, because a masculine man, he's not asking for permission. He's not waiting to be told what to do. He's not adjusting himself to fit inside your comfort zone.
I want to hear what women want.
We want a man who acts like
That's interesting. So they're saying that women say they want a masculine man. They want all the benefits that come with a masculine man. But once they get a masculine man, his frame or his terms or his disciplines are not as comfortable as she thought they were going to be, because his provisions come with other things.
Well, but she's looking for control. Those types of, they're looking for control. You cannot control a masculine man. It doesn't work that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, maybe a 70-30. Remember the scale of 100%?
Well, again, like I say, the problem with that, it's like a sandcastle when the tide's coming in. The minute a man starts to erode his masculinity because he's giving her maybe he started 80-20. This happens a lot. You start 80-20 in a marriage, and next thing you know, 2 years in, you're 70-30. But it's like the world sucks chart. You're either going up or you're going down. If you don't hold your frame will start to erode. And there's no stopping it. You'll get the masculinity sucked out of you. That's the problem with this last sort of trend that you're talking about.
Well, and the thing that occurs to me is a woman that says things like that hasn't learned how to flow with her masculine man.
Yeah.
She hasn't learned how to get what she wants in a feminine energy. She's trying to control him, which doesn't work. She needs to learn how to control the relationship, not the man.
She's not aware that she will achieve way more
right.
by engaging her feminine energy than she ever will with control.
And the feminine energy feels good. Oh, it's time for home out.
No. No, we just messed up. When I say we, I mean me.
Well, we're all in this together, Adam.
So
we're following your lead, my friend.
I don't know what happened. I didn't even hit the wrong button or anything. Let me get back to where I was. Take 2 seconds. Oh no, we're gonna have to play from the start, or no, there we go. Okay.
All these men are
a man who leaves his life well, and who women want a man who's nice.
A lot of that attitude, men are not going to put up with.
You don't actually want a masculine man, and difficult things to coexist because comfort zone.
I want to hear what women.
This one's good. I like what she has to say here.
Like a man who's manly.
You know your video's not playing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's playing for me.
It's not playing on the screen, yeah.
I'm over here just enjoying it. Let's see.
Can you hear noise in my background? I just want my grandson's in the other room, and apparently he and the dog had an interaction, and he's not a happy camper right now.
No.
Okay, good.
Let's see if I got this figured out here. Okay.
I need you to kill an alligator with your hands, but I need to feel so feminine around you because you are so masculine that I can turn my brain off because I know you've got it. Yeah. I trust you. I trust your intellect. I trust your character. I trust that I can close my eyes and follow you blindly, and I'm going to be happy about where I end up. You tell me where we're going, and we're all set. We live in a time of new age feminism and this whole idea that women and men need to be the same and they need to compete, and it's all from the enemy. It's all lie.
If men started saying, I'm going to be feminine until a woman puts me in my masculine energy, no woman will want no man. So why would a man want a woman who he has to put in her feminine energy? A woman should come soft just like a man comes strong.
She's completely right. Imagine a man also saying, I will stay weak and irresponsible until a worthy woman puts me in my masculine energy. No woman would accept that. A lot of women openly talk about the standards and expectations they have for men, demanding a tall, successful, disciplined man, while saying their own femininity will only appear later when he earns it. That logic does not work. Bring the qualities you expect from somebody else. A good relationship can strengthen your character, but it should not have to create it.
Women will say they want a masculine man, but the second he starts acting like one, you can't stand it.
Every woman wants a masculine.
Okay, this is the end. This lady, what is her name? Jada Bell, I think.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to lay it out. The difficulties. So if you're a masculine woman, if you have masculine energy as a woman, and you bring that energy to try to date a masculine man, this is the difficulties you're going to run into. Then she flips it, and if you are a feminine man trying to date a feminine woman, what difficulties you're going to run into. So this is interesting.
Man, but let's talk about the inconveniences of being with a masculine man if you are an
She calls it unhealed
woman.
Unhealed
a masculine
woman.
man is very disciplined. Therefore, it'll expose how undisciplined you are. His structure will irritate your chaos.
You mean kind of like this?
Like, oh my God, okay, you're emotionally stable and healed. Like, oh my God, it's so strict. It's so strict for no reason.
His calmness will feel like coldness. You will get bored.
Sort of like this chick.
I'm bored. This relationship is boring.
Because he initially has created peace in his life, structure and order. You either get in alignment with it and add to his peace, or you will have to leave.
And a lot of women ain't used to that.
You mean to tell me I messed up one time and then you ready to just throw me to the wolves? I don't get no chances.
Nope, and these men don't care if you sing it to them either.
Second is you will feel out of control because you cannot manipulate him. You cannot manipulate him with your tears and your emotional escalation.
And these women are very aware of this too.
How am I supposed to manipulate you if you know your worth? How am I supposed to do that?
He will not chase your emotional drama. He will address it head on. You will feel completely exposed and out of control. An unhealed woman with a masculine man will think that his boundaries is a form of rejection. And regardless, he is not going to let up on his boundaries for love, for passion. He will not reward your chaos with more attention. That is something that an unhealed woman is used to getting in prior relationships with feminine men or emotional men. Next is his peace will feel boring. If your nervous system is so used to dysfunction and intensity, and you call that love and passion, he will feel incredibly boring to be with.
I just want something that just keeps me wondering what's gonna happen tomorrow. What's gonna happen the next day? I'm excited to see you. You don't excite me.
Next is he will expect you to grow. You're going to be required to grow with a masculine man. He will not tolerate your immaturity. He will not tolerate your disrespect. He will not tolerate your manipulation. He will not tolerate your whining or your tantrums or the things you are doing that are disrespectful to him. And lastly is you can't dominate him. And if you're used to dominating over your relationships, you will feel incredibly small with him. If dominating a man is what makes you feel purposeful, is what makes you feel big and have high self-esteem, or this fake confidence that you carried, then being with a masculine man is going to make you feel small and weak. A masculine man does not need you to try to be the man. In fact, he never will let you. He has structure, he has order, he has identity, he has peace, and he has calmness. And he expects you to add to that, not take it away. An unhealed woman that says she wants a masculine man wants a man strong enough to protect her, but weak enough to control. You cannot demand leadership and then rebel against it as soon as it challenges you. If you want to be with a masculine man, you're going to have to learn emotional regulation. You're also going to have to stop romanticizing intensity and chaos. It is not passion to a masculine man. A masculine man will bring order, and to an unhealed woman, order and structure feels like oppression. So before you say, I want a masculine man, ask yourself, am I the type of woman that can be with one, or am I going to try to dismantle him at any cost? Let's talk about the inconveniences of being.
Thoughts?
That's really good right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we said, right? That's what we said.
Yeah.
Right.
She'll suck, that's the problem with that, though, is she will suck the masculinity out of him.
If he lets her, and then
If he
she
lets
doesn't
her.
want him anymore because he's not
Exactly.
sane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing, what came up for me there was she talked about, like in your slide, you talked about men's emotions when you're comparing line for line.
Mhm.
Cold and hard. I would change cold to calm and hard. You know, because that's what a man brings, masculine calmness to a situation.
Well, then I would have to change warmness to chaos for the woman,
There you go.
just to be equal.
You know, and honestly, when we are in chaos a lot, it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
here we go. And it doesn't feel good when I'm with him, when I'm with my man and I go into chaos and he can hold steady and create that safe place for me to relax into. You know, it's like he's not going to be cold, but he's going to be steady. Then I can let my chaos go, because it's you if you push against something that resists you, there's something to resist. But if you push against something that's just like, I'm just here, then it's easy to calm after that. If that makes sense.
Chaos and order are necessary opposites. They are poles.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you've ever heard of Alan Watts, he talks about the womp and the woof, which is the one side of a tapestry that you see that looks amazing, and then you look at the backside and it's just like a chaotic mess, you know. And so one side is the order and the other side is the chaos, and you couldn't have one without the other. Similarly, if you were to look, if you were to take anything under a microscope, if you were to take like a hair follicle and look at it under a microscope, the first zoom in, it actually looks very, very ordered. And then you zoom into another level and it's complete chaos. Everything is everywhere and it looks tangled and messy and there's no order to it at all. And then you zoom into another deeper magnification and once again you have order. And then zoom in deeper and it's chaos. It's always chaos and order, the balance of the two. You always need them.
Yeah, if everything's calm and ordered, then it's boring. You do need that spark.
And there's no growth.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to look at it. She's going to explain. This one's a lot shorter. She's going to say it from the other perspective.
A truly feminine woman if you are an unhealed man. A healed man will experience femininity as peaceful, but an unhealed man will experience femininity as pressure. A feminine woman will mirror a man's emotional stability. So if a man is unhealed, that mirror will be quite uncomfortable. A feminine woman will never compete with a man's role, and she will never try to replace his role either. Because of this will really expose if he has a lack of leadership, because the feminine woman leans into guidance and direction, not control, leadership, his leadership. If a man has spent his life
being passive and avoiding making decisions, hard decisions in his life, just avoidance in general, then her presence will feel like a lot of pressure. She's going to ask questions like, where are we going? What are we building? What's the plan? And to a grounded man, that's easy. That's simple. He can handle that pressure. Direction will feel like pressure to the man that has no destination. Number two, this will expose if he is very inconsistent in his life, because a truly feminine woman thrives in stability and safety. If a man is always hot and cold or addicted to chaos, very inconsistent in his life, her nervous system will feel this and she will ask a lot of questions, not because she's needy, because she needs a sense of safety. Because she will question his inconsistencies and instabilities, it will force him to have to confront them. Why is he inconsistent in his life? Why is he addicted to chaos? Number three, a truly feminine woman will expose a man's ego. A truly feminine woman will submit to a man's strengths, not his insecurities. Therefore, this is going to be very confronting to the man whose identity relies on his ego and not his character. Lastly, she'll expose his avoidance of responsibility. The feminine woman tends to want to build connections. She wants to build a safer environment, a beautiful, warm home, build a family. But to build these things, it takes a lot of responsibility and effort. To an unhealed man, he wants freedom without accountability. So the truly feminine woman requires him to be the version of himself that he might not have grown into yet. And a truly feminine woman either becomes a man's piece or becomes the mirror he is trying to avoid.
That's good.
Yeah. I hear a lot of not passing the test.
Well, what really resonated for me and what she just shared is she'll ask a lot of questions. She's not challenging him. She's looking for his leadership. She's looking for his guidance. She's looking for the foundation of his guidance. She's asking questions, not challenging, just asking questions. Where are we going? What's your plan? What's happening here? And an unhealed man in her vernacular, an unhealed man is going to feel like she's challenging him, like she's questioning his integrity or his leadership. But she is questioning. She's not questioning it as in threatening it. She's questioning it. It's like, where is it? What is it? And a man that's in his masculine and is strong in his leadership, she's not going to have to question because she knows. So if your woman is questioning you, look in the mirror and see, are you leading?
All right. We're going to move on to Homath.
All these men are
That's not it.
saying,
How do I go to the next
There was
one?
a little bit of an entitlement in some of those early girls too. You know, my question with the girls that have this sense of entitlement is, and what are you bringing to the party? What's making him want to step up and take care of you?
Yep. Agreed. The first videos were TikTok specials.
Yeah.
TikTok is a lovely place. Okay. This is our last segment of the live. I don't know if Bruce has any cigar left, but
no, it's out.
Okay, so we're gonna make this quick. Homath on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, he's everywhere. Got a lot of respect for this guy. He's put in a lot of work. I think he is one of the thought leaders when it comes to this type of stuff. But his name definitely does turn some people off.
Gets everybody's attention.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this up here because I don't think when I play the video, you're not going to see any of his page or name or anything. So go to his channel, subscribe to his channel, follow his stuff. He did try to rebrand himself, and he's considering rebranding himself as Psychomath instead of Homath. Psycho meaning like psychology.
Not crazy.
Right. Well, he can
it's probably a double entendre.
Yeah, he can do both. But he's actually, shout out to him. Like he's worked so hard and been through a lot. He's actually going through some he's been out public about he's going through some illness or something, and he's trying to recover, and a lot of it's due to how hard he's been working and stuff. So as he comes back to health and comes back online and does that, he's a frequent visitor of other channels. I would love for him to come to our channel and talk to us about anything, really, share his wisdom with us. So that's Homath. And so I gotta switch it to a different window. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I.
How's the smoke, Bruce?
It's not too bad, actually. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay, so there are many videos of his that we could play that would be very insightful and also very entertaining. But in order to really have an understanding, which I think we'll bring parts of his stuff in different episodes. I think that would be a good idea. But to get a baseline understanding of who he is and his kind of what he talks about, this page here. So what he does is he draws. This is how he became famous, I guess. Is he would just talk on screen. You don't see his face. You just see his hands and a pencil and a piece of paper, and he just draws as he's talking. And he drew a version of this one time, like on the napkin or something while he was talking to somebody. And this became very iconic, and he's developed it. This is the third version where he's completely flushed it out. And so he's going to take us through what this is. And I got to tell you, this, if you've never seen this before, this is eye-opening when it comes to understanding men and women and how they think differently from each other. So again, same rules apply. If you have something to say, if you want to talk, just start talking and I'll pause it. This is 20 minutes long. I don't think we're going to get through all 20 minutes, but if we get through the first half of it, that'll be pretty good. But here we go. Hopefully. Okay.
Must be on the platform.
First of all, these are
There we
the
go.
male and female sides. They are divided by this center line, which is the only double line on the chart. These inner boxes here and here with the meters next to them here, here, and here are the types of evaluations that men make about women and that women make about men. These boxes next to the meter are the qualities that men look for when they are evaluating women. So you just add the total of how a man feels about a woman's body, personality, purity, and the bonus things that barely matter. There's a cabinet. And you get the total attraction, which determines where he's going to place her. So in men, the more that we are attracted to a woman, the more lust we are going to have. But in men, we can experience attraction with zero or negative attachment, which usually does not happen in women. Women can be attached to men for these reasons, or for these reasons, or for both. But for men, if we really like you, then we want you forever. If we only kind of like you, then we want you for now. And if we don't like you at all, but something sometimes feels better than nothing, then we want to forget. So I created this visualization because this is something that I want women to learn. Just because men are sleeping with you does not mean that we're attached, and in fact we could be very unattached. I called this chart zones because it's based off the idea of the friend zone. I'm using language that we already understand. I did the same with these boxes. I based them off the idea of she's a keeper. If they rhyme, it's easier to understand. So the keeper is the one you marry and you keep her forever. The sleeper is the one who is nice to have around, but you never quite know what the future is going to be, and the sweeper is the one that you regret and don't want anyone to know about. So when men are evaluating women, we think of you in terms of the best I could ever get, the bottom line for what I would commit to. Right here is the public secret line, the dotted line. These are the ones that we want to be seen with and the ones that we don't. This is the line where we would see her again or not. And then below this line, we would be not interested in even one shameful secret. And the way that we evaluate how attracted we are is through what's in these boxes. First, you have the body, obviously very
Pretty simple. Men are 3 boxes. and the women are 9.
Yeah.
Right away, you can see that
Fair.
men are simple creatures. Yeah, now he's just going to go through what attracts men.
Different men like different body types. Sometimes we like your voice. We like women of different, body types, different levels of fitness. Some men like women thicker. We like different qualities in your face, your hair, how you wear your hair, and it's just body. Second is personality, who she is, where she's from, how she treats you. Is she supportive, helpful, reliable, interesting, smart? Is she into the same things as you? Purity is all about your history of loyalty. Do you have any baggage? Do you dress modestly, or are you running around with your clothes off at midnight? One thing a lot of men care about is a woman's innocence. A lot of modern women don't accept that. They say it's infantilizing, but men appreciate purity and innocence in women for evolutionary reasons, and it's not going away. Purity also includes, is she exclusive? Does she cheat? Has she cheated before? Is she polyamorous? Does she have kids from other guys? Does she have guy friends? Here's her guy friends. If you've ever had a girlfriend, you know how that feels. And then finally, cabinet I changed to bonus because it's easier to understand, but I still drew the cabinet because it's funny. Bonuses don't matter very much to men. The best example is if she has a really convenient apartment. That is something that would be cool, but it doesn't matter a lot to men, but it might matter a lot to women. That's why their bonus section is Galaxy. They might say things like, oh my God, he has all the right stuff in the perfect place. You might get a few points from that, but not here. If you have the perfect apartment and you're here, you might go like this. It doesn't do a lot. So men basically just evaluate all these things about women and then add them to get how attracted we are to her. And then that's just her score. And that's how it works. Men are simple.
Pretty simple for men.
If we meet you and we see you and we think that you're somewhere in here, and then we observe your behavior and you fall down to here, you're going to need to do a lot of personal work to move back up. So if you're a woman, changing your personality and purity habits can change your score a lot, and so can your body. If a man thinks that a woman is an amazing person but isn't attracted to her for reasons that she could change, that can move her from here to here. So these 3 boxes are very important. This one, not so much. Okay, now for the female side. Women are complicated.
This is the more interesting
So again,
side.
men have only 1 meter. These are not separate. Men can be very physically attracted to somebody, but not very attached at all. Women, on the other hand, experience attraction along 1 axis and attachment along 2. So this is your bad boy score, and that is her total attraction to you. And this is your good guy score, and that is the total amount of provision and protection and comfort and friendship and security.
So this is where I was saying earlier, he's gonna clearly define what the simp is in this next couple minutes here.
That she gets from you. In my opinion, the biggest problem in dating right now is that men are told if you are nice to her, then she will be attracted to you, but that is not what causes attraction. So a lot of guys will say things like, hey, I spend time with you, I spend money on you, I'm not known for being a bad guy or a criminal, I don't have any other girls.
That's all simping.
Around me. Why aren't you attracted to me? Because those are not the things that make women attracted to you. So the good guy score is made up of 4 boxes. The first one is investment. That means spending money on her, providing for her, spending time with her, getting to know her, emotionally bonding with her, supporting her emotionally, financially. A lot of men think that investment is all about money, and it's not. There are a lot of guys who are dead broke and they moved across the country for her or changed religions or something, and that gave them a big boost. The next one is presentability. That's how good she looks to be seen with you. So that is, do you take care of your appearance and your hygiene? Are you a likable guy? Do you have social skills? Think of this box like Mr. Rogers, one of the most likable people ever. He's had a great reputation. That's big good guy score. Then there's loyalty. This is one of the most confusing things about women because in these relationships, women need you not to have other girls. But in these relationships, sometimes it can make you more attractive to her through something called mate choice copying, which I have videos about. If you have if you're popular with other women. Basically, these guys wouldn't have gotten this reaction if all the other girls didn't already like them. It's when women like you, women like you. There's a great old Patrice O'Neill stand-up comedy special called Elephant in the Room where he talks about this. He basically explains that you need to prove that you can get women so she's attracted to you, but then don't actually get them so she doesn't leave you. Women are common.
So, Brenda,
Yeah.
one of the things he's saying here is that all of the things on the top column, the provider, the Mr. Rogers, nice guy stuff, that's all the stuff that women will say out loud. That's what that's the kind of man that they want.
They don't believe it.
Then the attraction one, the bad boy stuff, is what they're actually attracted to, which actually like turns them on.
But they don't talk about it.
But they won't admit it.
Yeah.
Well, both things can be true at once. She can want the things on the top score, but the spark comes from the bad boy, the attraction scale at the bottom. And one of the things that he said is so spot on. A woman wants to be with a man that other women want to be with.
Yeah, pre-selected. Yeah.
She doesn't want to be with a man that nobody wants. There's too much of an ick factor there. So he needs to be marketable. And she wants a man that other women want, but he won't go there.
Marketable but loyal.
And loyal. Yeah. I mean, if nobody wants him and he's loyal, there's no value in that.
He talks about that. He has to have the ability to cheat on her, but he chooses not to.
But he chooses not to,
For
right?
most women, it's enough just to see that other women are jealous that she has you. So be something that women want to steal from her, but then don't let yourself get stolen.
There you go.
That's it. It's not that hard. Just be cool. So to keep your good guy score high here, you just have to be trustworthy and loyal and have a good history, just like in purity. Finally, the bonus for women is a galaxy because it matters a lot. You will hear women from time to time just gab and gab about it. He's got this thing and he lives here and he does that and he's from here, blah, 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 blah. They like this. If you have a lot of the things that she wants you to have in here, it can bump your score up by a significant amount. So the bonus, again, is kind of things that you have rather than things that you are, which would go here and here and here and here. And again, just like men, you add up how she feels about these aspects of you, and that will determine how secure she feels with you and what kind of relationship she wants. Most men need to work on this more than this. A lot of modern men have this ridiculous idea that women are just not as sexual, like all women are this all the time. And I promise you, if you ever make it past this line into the range where a lot of women find you attractive, you will find out how wrong that is. So a lot of men will spend their time and energy being nice and then wonder why women are not attracted. And it's because you're not attractive. Women like the same things we do. Women are into body, maybe even more than men in some ways. They like different body types. Women are into height, which is something most men don't care about. Women have sensitivity to men's voices and their hands and different aspects about their faces. When men evaluate women physically, we just kind of go, oh, she's hot, and then we're done. Women will talk endlessly about little details about men's bodies. I had a woman tell me recently that my shoulder muscles attach to my shoulders in a way that was sexy. Who even thinks of that? They do. And of course, there are some things you can't really fix. You can't do much about your height or your face. But if you're a man and you're not taking care of your fitness and you're not perfectly fresh every time you leave the house and you're standing and walking like you don't care about yourself, and you have to dress properly too, which is not difficult. I'll go over it in Self-Maximize. But if you're a man and you're not maximizing this aspect of yourself, you are leaving this on the table and you are doomed to be here forever. So for men, we like a lot of things about women's personalities, and some of those things are universal and some of them are very specific to your personality. And women are kind of like that too. Everyone's different, but they have much higher requirements in particularly this personality area. This is the hardest spot on the chart. It's the most difficult one to master. I called this section masculinity. I broke it down into competence and confidence. Again, this is the Mr. Rogers area. This is how likable you are, how nice of a person people think you are. This is the supportive husbandy area. It's how much you're investing in her. Is why it's called investment. This is like the Tony Montana area. That's the main character from the movie Scarface. And this was his girlfriend, and she didn't like him because he was nice. She liked him because he had power. On Zone's version 2, people criticized me for saying that you need to be a bad person in order to be attractive, and that's not what I'm trying to say. So I fixed it by getting rid of the words dark triad and replacing it with what those traits represent. Most men understand that if a girl is attractive enough, her personality can add quite a lot. It is the same for women. If you are attractive enough and you're taking care of yourself enough, these personality aspects can add a lot. These personality aspects will not add this. You
Okay. Thoughts so far on what he has to say? Is he well, Brenda? This is all about women. This part, so is he spot on or what?
Well, it's hard to quantify because the things on the right, security, those are important, but the attraction, the part that gets my attention, the part that gets the spark, and what he said about, men have shorter lists and women have long lists. I think part of that is the survival of the species. She has to be much more selective, so her criteria is much larger just because of that's how it's always been. That's the way we're wired in our DNA. And like we've been talking in the last couple of weeks, women have more options, so she has to have more criteria to narrow the field. But the masculinity, I'm curious to see how he breaks down the competence and the confidence, but the masculinity is very important. She wants all those things in a marriage and a family man, a man that she's going to spend her life with. She wants the things on the right-hand column, but what's going to get her attention is the bottom.
Well, and it's also what's going to keep the attraction in over the long term. Because if you're a provider and you're the Mr. Rogers and you're all those things on the right, the loyalty and all that stuff, but you have no masculine traits about you, then you get moved into the friend zone. One of the interesting things that's coming up is he shows you how you move from box to box based on how you're acting as a man, how she'll move you from the not people zone. Like, in other words, that box right there, that first one says not people zone. If you provide zero security and you provide zero attraction, you don't even exist.
You're invisible. Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally invisible. And then he goes through all the boxes and how you would move in them and stuff like that.
Well, and I want to agree with him too on the lust factor. Women can be very pure and still, what do they say? An angel in the Martha Stewart in the kitchen, but a devil in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's very true. And a woman wants a man that she can be that.
Where she feels secure enough.
Where she's not going to be judged, where she's not going to be falling up short, where she can have sex with the lights on and not worry about what's, the judgment that's going to happen. Because in my experience, women are spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And if men only knew, right? If you know, and you're doing a good job. If you don't know that, then you need to take a look at how you're taking care of how you're showing up in your masculinity.
Well, they want to be directed, I think, and control. It's a whole nother topic. Leading in the bedroom. Maybe we'll do a slideshow on that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd be very curious to see about the difference of perceptions there.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, what do you think? Have we hit every topic that we need to cover today?
Sure.
We're not going to watch the rest of the video.
We can. I don't know. Bruce's cigar is out. I don't know. He's falling asleep over there.
I think we had enough. The only thing I see here is that right-hand column, all of that. You could have all of those traits, but if you don't have the bottom stuff that they don't like to admit, you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know that they don't like to admit that. I think women will very loudly say, "This is what I want in a man."
Well, I mean, maybe.
Well, that's what they say to other women. Let's put it that way.
To other women, possibly. Yeah.
But they don't admit it to men, right? They want all the things on the right-hand column: loyalty, presentation.
Yeah, but a woman's not shy about saying, I want a man who's self-assured, a man who's capable, a man who's got perseverance. Some of those words on there might be a little bit tricky for a woman to embrace. Sly, you know, that's one of those know it when you see it kind of things. Aggression, aggressive. That one can be a little tricky, depends on the context. But, you know, I mean, a feminine woman wants a man that's going to show up. You know, and a man that's in a marriage that feels stale, come home from work and push her against the wall and just give her a what for with a kiss, you know, just really
push her against the wall, Brenda. We can't do that. You can't tell men to do that.
Try it and see.
Well, you need to have an edge, right?
Yeah. Take her to where she's like, whew, what was that?
Yeah.
I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
No shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to watch the rest of that video, I would suggest that you go to Homath on YouTube and you can type
Send me
in.
a link.
Yeah, I will. You can type in zones. That one's called zones. But he has all other ones. He has another one, Bruce, that's called levels. It's about like levels of consciousness, which is a lot like the World Sucks chart. Very interesting.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few of them since you shared that with me.
Oh,
the
have
more
you?
you get into the quantum field, the more interesting it is too.
Oh, yeah, that's a great topic. Probably not third entity topic, but quantum physics is very interesting. What's happening with that? Well, thank you for being here again, Brenda. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It's super fun. This was very fun today. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're welcome. We'll see you next week. And Bruce, enjoy your vacation there and stay safe in the wildfires.
Give my love to your ladies, guys.
I'm wildfiring. No, wildflowering.
Oh, yeah, you're wildflowering. That's yeah.
Don't tell your wife.
Yeah, keep that to yourself. All right. Well, everybody, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Coal in my pocket, breath like a match, velvet